So Kai Cenat is Diddy's son. Because at this point, that's what everybody is saying every chance they get. So they had the Streamer Awards tonight, and the person who was hosting it decided it would be funny to say that Kai was on a 50 Cent documentary about P. Diddy.
Haircut and the least educational university. So congratulations to you. Oh, and also, congrats on your new documentary with 50 Cent. That was you, right?
I just couldn't get any 5G. So I started driving for a minute, just trying to look for a tower, and I just couldn't find a tower no matter what I did in this neighborhood. So eventually I saw these guys walking by, and I said, yo, y'all get service around here? And they was like, nah, we don't get no service. I said, why not? He said, the rich people in this area, they made it so that they couldn't put up 5G towers.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? If you guys are brand new here, you guys don't know what we do, don't worry, I'm gonna break it down for you guys. We talk about the most engagement, creepiest videos on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG videos, Facebook, anything weird, unusual, unexplained, you can find right here on this channel. Let's do what we do best, seekers. Say it with me, seek the truth.
Good things happening in the world right now. A 17-year-old girl just broke her brother's record of becoming California's youngest lawyer. Waymo's autonomous cars have driven over 50 million miles in the United States now and have crashed only 60 times. Human drivers will crash around 600 to 700 times over 50 million miles driven. This means Waymo is crashing 10 times less than humans so far. A Bulgarian man who went missing in 2008 and was pronounced dead in 2013 was just found last month in a national park. A man found his dog giving a baby koala a piggyback ride, and no, it wasn't AI this time. A high school in Maine introduced detention hikes instead of just being isolated in a classroom. This is a photo of a drought-free California, and as a person who was born there, I'm very happy to see that. A British nonprofit removed 300,000 landmines in Sri Lanka, allowing almost 300,000 people to return to their original homes. A man in his 30s with advanced ALS and is completely paralyzed was able to communicate for the first time in months. Using a new brain implant, he was able to communicate about one character a minute with his first message, "I want a beer." He also asked to listen to the band Tool very loudly. He wanted a head massage from his mother, and he ordered curry.
Have you ever wondered why the beaches are closed at night? Is it because there's no lifeguards? Or is it because of what's lurking in the ocean? A guy decided to test fate and go to the beach in Key Largo, Florida at night. He got to Key Largo, got to the beach, and found something that scared the living hell out of him. He recorded a siren sitting on a rock. You heard me, a siren sitting on a rock. As a matter of fact, take a look at this video. To the left of the pole, sitting right there. Look at this. Look at that.
Yeah, I'm calling it right now.
I've gone ahead and froze it and enlarged it as best I could. But that is the figure of a siren sitting on a rock. Very similar to this image right here, looking directly at the ocean. I've gone ahead and pulled up what a siren is for you, for those of you that don't know. Described as a dangerous, alluring creature who lured sailors to their deaths with enchanting voices. So my question to you is, does that look like a siren to you? What do you think that is? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And as always, I'd love to hear from you.
Our reality is purposely being altered, and here's proof.
This is the most insane example of how everyone is experiencing completely different social medias at the exact same time.
Watch this, watch the full video. We are living in alternate realities. It's insane. It's like the Matrix, and it's happening now.
This video, my boyfriend said he'd be over by 3 after golfing, and it's just her every half an hour taking a video saying, oh, he's still not here, and it gets to 5 or 6 p.m, and he's still not here, okay? I opened the comments in this video, and kind of as I expected, everyone was saying, oh, that's really rude, it's the disregard of her time, I don't like him. Did he communicate with you? If not, then that's a red flag, okay? Fair enough, you know. I sent this video to my boyfriend who was sat next to me, and then I said to my boyfriend, lol, look at the comments. Bear in mind, these comments were coming up at the top of the list. So as soon as you open the comments, these are the ones coming up for me. Tell me fucking why my boyfriend opens the comments on his phone.
It's a whole different
and again, it's the first list of comments that come up. It's the same time on the same video. Or you could get your own hobby instead of waiting around for him. Like, God forbid he has a good time. You know, before 3 a.m. he's ahead of schedule. No fucking wonder we're all so divided.
They are doing this deliberately. I don't know if it's on like a male or female basis or just an individualistic basis, but they are doing this on purpose. They want us to fight. They want us to disagree because that takes away the attention from what they're really doing. Stay weird.
It's the algorithm.
The elites had their summer homes in Jekyll Island, including the Rockefellers, Vanderbilts, the Morgans.
This reminds me, if I can, talk about the place we got married.
Yeah.
It's like a hidden gem, the place that we got married, the venue called the Sidoni Mansion. It was built at the turn of the century by a dude who was buddies with all of those guys you just mentioned. And he went on a hunting trip. He was hunting on this land that he ultimately ended up purchasing and building the Sidoni Mansion, which was originally a hunting lodge, but then just turned into their Christmas home. What's so strange about it is that they had this huge wealth, and he also had 5 children. That kind of money and that many children at the turn of the century, you would have like hundreds of descendants today, but they have 3 living relatives. All the wealth is mysteriously gone. Every single family member, apart from one daughter, died in that house.
And they only went there for Christmas.
They were only there for Christmas.
There's something hidden there. That's
I
scary.
don't like that.
It makes you think, because it's like, so like...
If only y'all knew what they put in the most expensive perfumes and colognes. For example, Baccarat Rouge. Or a lot of the perfumes, which is the female side of the collections. If only y'all knew what they put in these things to make them not only just last a lot longer, but attract other people. Y'all might think, well, it's just really great pheromones and all. No, actually, they put in, let's just say allegedly, right? Because you're not gonna find an article saying that, hey guys, we put this in here, obviously, right? But a lot of these perfumes and colognes, you gotta be careful, have witchcraft in them. And a lot of the witchcraft that they put in these colognes and perfumes is a drop of blood. And a lot of the times, those drops of blood come from things like babies or like things that are sacrificed, or even demon blood. And so you might think, oh, you're just capping, you're just talking. Source, trust me, bro. Why do y'all think the most expensive colognes are, one, more expensive? Y'all might say, well, it's because of the brand. What do these brands practice? Think of Balenciaga, think of Versace. Think about who they worship and what they practice and the things that they do.
Okay.
Y'all don't think that they put that also in their colognes and perfumes? Think about it. Really think about it. Now, I'll leave y'all with this caveat right here, okay? Think about what they put on these bottles and the gods that they put on these bottles. Like Versace, the gods they put on a Versace bottle. Think about these, and I'm not saying that I think it's the most expensive perfumes and colognes. The ones that have a lot, the ones that are a lot older and have, the ones that are a lot older and they made back in the day and things like that. Those are the ones you gotta watch out for.
Right, so
You guys think that's why perfume costs so much? That they putting some mixture in it and the general public has no idea? That's a theory. I have to go down that rabbit hole. I thought it was because it was so expensive because I guess because the name brands, all the big brands, if they're just a big name, they're just gonna hike up the price, or because of how it's made.
CIA dropped documents saying that we're living inside a hologram. Not maybe, not theoretically. No, your entire life is basically a rendered environment, and your brain is the controller. Let's talk about it. So the doc is called the Gateway Experience. And inside of it, the CIA literally says reality is a projection. You ain't hear what I said, right? Not physical, not solid, a self-generated simulation your conscious is plugged into. Like a cosmic VR headset you didn't consent to wearing. According to them, matter isn't even matter. It's just vibrations organized by your brain to make this shit look real. Crazy shit. They say you could break the simulation by syncing both sides of your brain. Something called hemisync. And this is for entertainment purposes only. Informational purposes only. Educational purposes only. 2 different tones in each ear between 3 and 7 hertz. And suddenly your brain clicks into a higher operating system. And once you're in that state, the CIA claim you could do some crazy shit. Leave your body, remote view locations, manipulate your reality field, access information outside of time. Basically some superhuman shit. This is what they're saying. The CIA also goes as far as saying the universe is a giant holographic projection coming from a source that we can't see. Your body is the avatar. Your conscience is the player. And the game responds to your level of awareness. You heard what I just said? They tried to bury this shit. For years, these documents were classified. Let Google be your best friend. Jump down that rabbit hole. I'm out.
So Kai Cenat is Diddy's son. Because at this point, that's what everybody is saying. Every chance they get. So they had the Streamer Awards tonight, and the person who was hosting it decided it would be funny to say that Kai was on a 50 Cent documentary about P. Diddy. They said, that was you on the show, right? And not only that, she tried to play with his Streamer University too, saying it was the most uneducated university ever. Look at this shit.
Haircut and the least educational university. So congratulations to you. Oh, and also, congrats on your new documentary with 50 Cent. That was you, right?
So on a bigger stage, she decided to make those comments, knowing everybody is watching it and knowing how everybody feel about the Kai and Diddy shit. He better than me because I would have been like, oh, let me see that mic real quick. I'd have definitely told her about herself, and I don't even know who Shorty is. But he ain't tripping too much because you see he racked up his awards. But I don't know, y'all. At this point, this man might as well go get a DNA test or show your real pop.
The McDonald. Nah, Kai Diddy jokes, bro. I know, man. He's probably just getting tired of it, bro. It's like, it's old now, man. People keep saying that all the time. You know, when a joke just keep getting repeated, it's like, wrap it up, bro. Like, come on, it's over, man. That's actually crazy. And it was at the Streamer Awards too, bro. I don't really see. I really don't see how people say he's speaking. He looks like Diddy. I don't see it. Maybe I'm just on the outside looking in, but because I'm obviously not on that level. But like, I wonder how that affects Kai, because you know Diddy did kind of. He did some crazy stuff, and people keep saying he looks like him. Like, you know, that I don't know how that affects Kai, bro. So. Speaking popular streamer, I'm Dante, was talking about it on the stream yesterday, just saying how, like, you know, people, they just, you know, they saying it's a joke or telling Kai, you know, it's just a joke or something like that, but you don't know how Kai's taking it, so it couldn't be, it might not be a joke to him, like, that could really be affecting him, bro, so I don't know. Just tell me down below what you guys think, man.
Monopoly game? Oh, that you like rip off? Yeah, did you know there was an actual gang that set up to heist the winnings? Wait, someone actually they got away with like 125 mil, something like that. Yeah, there's someone on the inside. You know how they make the McDonald's like, oh, you have to collect boardwalk? They were doing it over a span of certain years. What ended up happening was somebody that was the head of like this computer that generates the little Monopoly thing. At the end, obviously it's gonna be used, put into products, whatever. This guy was in charge of that. Why didn't he just give his numbers to his friends? That's what he ended up doing. Oh, okay. What's crazy though is they had it on lock because they would have an auditor watch exactly where the secret envelope with all the winning stuff are. Yo, even on the airplane, because there was just one time he wanted to go to the bathroom, whatever, and then he hid different ones and replaced them. Yeah. And then just gave like the actual envelope with the fake ones.
Oh, the Penguin Zero situation is insane.
From starting this channel in 2007 all the way until today, I have made $1 million.
So a few days ago, Charlie made a video titled, I'm turning it up. And what he was referring to was his donations. He basically said he has enough money and it doesn't sit right with him that normal people grinding at a 9-to-5 come home and they give him money when...
Streaming is the easiest job there is. There is no top streamer that needs your financial support to put food on the table or continue providing those streams.
So people were kind of taken back, saying, this is so based of Charlie, I'm going to donate my money to him. You'll never turn us off. People being mad they can't give a rich person money is the most first world country problem I've ever heard. He then has to make a video a few days later titled, I'm not turning it back on. And he literally shows everyone exactly how much money he's made on YouTube and Twitch to explain why he doesn't need any more donations. From 2021 to 2025, he made $4.1 million on Twitch, and that's just a side hustle. And then on YouTube, his lifetime earnings is nearly $36 million.
36 M's, bro, off YouTube. That's insane, bro. My man Charlie, he's doing it big, bro. Everyone need to get like Charlie, man. Do y'all know how insane that number is, bro? I'm sorry, I gotta underline this, bro. That's damn near 36 M's, bro. Just off YouTube, man. Woo.
And what's crazier is that if you actually look at the chart, yeah, he created his account in 2007, but he didn't really start earning proper money until 2019-ish. So the vast majority of that 35 million was made in just 6 years. And then he hit us with...
And keep in mind, these numbers here, those don't even include brand deals or sponsorships. I never even imagined that amount of money was possible to earn without just being born rich.
And a lot of the comments were, this might be the rarest thing of all time. Someone who is rich actually saying, stop giving me money, I already have plenty. But he also said that doing this has caused some pushback amongst other streamers, saying that it sets a bad precedent and shames other streamers for leaving their donations on. The question is, what do you guys think about this?
W Charlie.
Saying 6-7 out loud because they don't know what it means and they think they'll get canceled, and it's so funny watching them struggle. So here's how they responded when people said it to them. How Ariana responded was so funny, and here's what it really means if you also don't know. So the Gen Alpha 6-7 trend has taken over the whole world, from celebrities doing it everywhere to South Park making a whole episode about it. Half of the celebrities in the world are embracing it, the other half are afraid to say it. So here's exactly what it means. It means nothing. It's just a thing Gen Alpha says to be silly and like rile each other up to get loud. It's like Harlem Shake-esque randomness. It's not inappropriate, it's not filthy. But Sydney Sweeney was deathly afraid and refusing to say it while playing a game with Jimmy Fallon. And in this game, Jimmy Fallon had to describe what was going on behind her, and it was 3 Labubu's doing the 6-7 in a McDonald's drive-thru. And after saying that sentence, I think civilization is gonna end soon. And even though she knew exactly what he meant, she was acting like it would trigger an explosive device in her neck that would blow up her head if she said it.
Three Labubus are going through a drive-thru McDonald's?
Yes, but they're also doing a TikTok trend involving numbers.
Oh, I can't say that.
No, you can say no. Subtract 2, I think, from what you're saying.
No, I can't say that because that's the trend.
It's not 68.
I know it's 67.
Yes! Ariana Grande was also saying she's scared of 6-7 because she doesn't know what it means. So in her Actors on Actors interview, when Adam Sandler said it very casually, this was a look on her face. Like, it triggered a look of concern. And so since people were clowning her response and being like, why is she scared of it? She said, well, that's not really what she was reacting to. I don't know what this means. I'm scared. What is 6-7? Actually, I don't want to know. Please, love you all, enjoy. But if you're also scared and confused, you're allowed to say it. I promise you.
A man pointed a gun at her. She was shoved into a car, driven away, and tied tightly to a chair. Then she overheard a phone call where her husband told the men to kill her. But they decided not to, and secretly freed her instead while still collecting their money. Returning home days later, she watched as her family left her house mourning her death. Then she surprised her husband, who thought she was dead. Immediately, he begged for forgiveness, but police recorded his confession, and now he's serving years in prison.
Caught him in
Ventura
4K.
just entered the UAP chat, so check out what Surfline posted on their IG feed. This is Surfers Point in Ventura, California, and the footage is from Thursday, December 4th at 4:30 a.m. And something was captured that was definitely unexpected. So this is a tower-mounted surf cam designed for, web streaming and capturing long exposures over the ocean. And, don't forget, there's a long-running belief that the waters off Southern California, especially the deep water shelf between Catalina Island and the Ventura coastline, are a UAP hotspot. I mean, you've had military pilots, boat crews, and radar operators all reported strange activity out there over the years. So, who knows? And Surfline themselves posted this with the caption, video produced by surfline.com, which means that, they obviously thought it was interesting enough to share themselves.
Was it an edit or was that legit? Because those looked like some UFOs to me.
So, what are we looking at here? Drones, reflections, some kind of atmospheric phenomenon, or was something else cruising the Ventura coastline? It's a fun one. Chime in with your guess below.
What do you think?
So I was in my car, I was cruising, I was trying to upload a video. For some reason I was having problems uploading the video. I just couldn't get into 5G. So I started driving for a minute, just trying to look for a tower, and I just couldn't find a tower no matter what I did in this neighborhood. So eventually I saw these guys walking by, and I said, yo, y'all get service around here? And they was like, nah, we don't get no service. I said, why not? He said, the rich people in this area, they made it so that they couldn't put up 5G towers. I said, what? He said, yeah, they're opposed to 5G towers. They don't want the 5G towers around here. They feel like it messes with their, messes with the energy, it messes with the aesthetics, and it messes with their property value. I was like, what? So yeah, man, rich people is out here in specific towns just saying, yo, we don't want 5G towers over here because they fuck up all kinds of shit. Meanwhile, they put these motherfuckers everywhere. Yeah.
Wow.
Affluent communities oppose installation of 5G towers. Talking about aesthetic concerns and the scenic, the historic districts, and so on and so forth. Then the home worlds, they're worried about the negative impact on their property value. Meanwhile, they'll just put these motherfuckers up in everybody else's neighborhood. And I thought y'all just want to know that because they just put these things all over the place, put ugly costumes on them, and just put them just about anywhere. But when the mind is blind, the eyes can't see. These are all evil. All.
What do they know that we don't? They don't want them in the rich people's neighborhood, but they in our neighborhoods. So something has to be going on, bro. Do you know how much pull you have to not let those towers go up, bro? 5G, that's big money. I wonder if there's one where I'm at. Has to be. I got good service. I don't know how I feel about that.
They are telling us right in our face what they are doing to us, because what in the hell is radiation fog? I've been on this earth for 30 plus some years and I have never heard of this in my life. A mysterious 400-mile stretch of radiation fog blankets the state of California? But here's the thing, y'all. It wasn't just California. A whole bunch of people have stated that they woke up to fog in the morning too, and they were experiencing headaches, nausea, sinus problems. Their animals were acting up, and now we know the exact reason why. Now they're saying 20 different counties have reported this heavy dense fog sitting over California, and it's affecting 2 to 13 million people. Million people, y'all? See, that's exactly what I've been saying, man. Fog is not common in Florida, especially in South Florida, bro. And now they are telling us what they are doing to us. As soon as I said that, I get a sharp ringing in my left ear. Oh my God, the shift is here.
A 640-kilometer area in California is under the cover of a thick fog that can create respiratory problems and also cause asthma. Nearly 13 million people are under travel warnings, with officials issuing air quality alerts as the dense, low-lying fog can prove hazardous. Being called the radiation fog, 20 counties in California's Central Valley are affected. It forms when the ground cools rapidly after sunset, releasing heat back into the air. Experts say this fog can capture pollutants released from cars and factories, severely impacting air quality. Breathing in these particles that remain suspended in this radiation fog can cause health issues. The National Weather Service is also urging people to remain vigilant while driving, calling the fog a high transportation risk. The phenomenon, also named Thule fog, starts around November and peaks from December through February and ends by March. It happens every year in the late fall and winter months, affecting California's Bay Area, Sacramento Valley, and San Joaquin Valley. More than 2 million people are hit in Sacramento, Fresno, Bakersfield, Oakland, and Stockton, the most affected cities, according to the Daily Mail. It lingers on for longer.
Here's what people from 100 years ago thought the world would look like today. First off, they thought we would have automatic moving sidewalks. Next, they thought we would have roofs over our cities to protect us from the weather. And speaking about weather, they thought we would have weather controlling machines. Next up is video calls, which they actually did get right. Next, they thought we would walk on water with the help of balloons. Next, they thought we would have flying taxis, which I really do hope we get one day.
Oh. They was like 1 out of 5 of their predictions.
Here are some things that are completely normal during the day, but really creepy at night. Digging holes in your backyard. I mean, it's your backyard, and you're entitled to do whatever you want to it, but if I see you digging some holes in the middle of the night, I'm gonna be really concerned. Bonus creepy points if you have some trash bags next to you too. I feel bad for people who work graveyard shifts or are night owls because it makes it difficult to do any gardening or landscaping without looking pretty creepy. They say a child's laughter is one of the most beautiful sounds in the world, but not if it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Scary movies have absolutely ruined the sound of a child laughing for me because most instances I'm gonna assume the worst. And for some reason little girls laughing are even more scary. Like imagine being in the woods camping and you hear some little girl laughing in the distance. My brain isn't gonna think, oh cool, some family must be camping near us. No, I'm gonna think that I'm gonna get murdered or possessed by some demon. Someone knocking on your door during the day, it's annoying. Who the fuck is showing up at my house unannounced? It must be a salesman or worse, Mormons. That same knock at 3 in the morning? No, I'm getting murdered for sure. I'm on the 2nd floor and my only way out is to jump out the window, so I'm done for.
This is the most terrifying bathroom you'll ever see. The bathroom is located in a secret underground bar in Tokyo. And this horrifying face watches you on the toilet. Now, the inside of the toilet has special pressure sensors, so the more you do, the closer it gets to you. It will sing to you as it slowly moves closer until eventually it violates you. Watch this.
No way, man. Imagine you just on a crapper, bro, and a face. It's like slowly moving towards you, man. And it's weird that it senses like how much you crap and that's how it interacts with you. Some freaky things, man, in that underground Tokyo club, bro. We would not be going there. Take that off the bucket list.
These are disturbing Disney World facts. Up first, Disney's first water park called River Country closed permanently in 2001 after a crazy reason. An 11-year-old boy died from a brain-eating parasite. He got in the water at the park. The park is still there, completely abandoned to this day. Disney World is one of the most popular places on Earth where people scatter the ashes of dead people. It actually happens so often that the employees have a special code to use to report it for cleanup.
I'm gonna ruin your childhood, part 78.
Here we go.
In the movie Shrek, Lord Farquaad did something you probably didn't notice that will make you really mad. So in the beginning of the movie, you see Papa Bear, Mama Bear, and Baby Bear in these cages. But later on in the movie, in this scene, you see Papa Bear and Baby Bear, but where's Mama Bear? It is later revealed that Lord Farquaad turned Mama Bear into a rug in his room.
Damn, I didn't even notice that when I was a kid. We just gloss over
These
those
are
things.
abandoned places that you've never seen. These are Soviet space shuttles that have been abandoned for more than 30 years. Kashima, Japan was known for its underwater coal mine where over 5,000 people lived in the 1950s and was abandoned by the 1970s. This shack was abandoned after Hurricane Katrina and has been untouched since. This is an abandoned church in Greece that is now sitting at a 17-degree angle because of a landslide. This is a Japanese World War II airplane that lies wrecked in shallow water off the coast of Guam. This is an eerie yellow brick road from the Land of Oz abandoned theme park in North Carolina. A library in Detroit that was abandoned after closing in 1996. This is the factory that basically built New York City. This is an abandoned train track bridge in California from the late 1800s. This is an abandoned 1950s restaurant. This is a completely abandoned island castle in Ireland.
These are 8 horrifying facts that will probably keep you up at night. There are thousands of old diseases frozen in the glaciers of the world, and global warming will eventually release them all. If a person dies in their costume at Disney, like Mickey Mouse, they have to be sat down on a bench so it looks like they're resting. Climate change is making spiders bigger. Some female spiders allow their young to eat them alive. Tooth in the eye surgery is when surgeons put a tooth in a blind person's eye to restore their sight. It was pioneered in the 1960s, and it actually works, and it's still being done today. The chances of a successful CPR outside of a hospital is only 7%. Cell phones are 10 times dirtier than a toilet seat. When you suddenly wake up during the night without any reason, there was someone or something staring at you. Yeah, there's a lot more, like for part 12.
Who's staring at me at night?
You didn't know exist. First is the Gates of Hell. This is also known as the Darvaza gas crater. It's a natural gas field that collapsed. It was originally thought to be an oil site, but when they started preparing for drilling, it collapsed. And they expected the dangerous release of poisonous gas from this, so engineers decided to burn this off. It was estimated that the gas would burn off within a few weeks, but it's been burning for over 50 years and there's no end in sight. These are the Mendenhall Caves in Alaska. They're formed as water flows through the glacier and creates a passageway. And the blue color of the ice is a result of the air squeezing out from the original ice and snow, causing the ice to absorb all the colors except blue. The glowworm caves in New Zealand. These caves are filled with glowworms that light up the top of the caves like a night sky. And you can actually walk through these caves or even take a boat ride through them.
Kid remembered his past life, and the story is shocking to him. A 3-year-old boy began to say that he had been murdered in his past life. He said he was killed by getting an axe to the head, and strangely enough, on his head was a long red birthmark. Because of this strange coincidence, his family decided to take him to the village he said he was murdered at. When there, he pointed to the spot he said he was buried at. The family decided to pay for excavators, and when they dug up the ground, they found something shocking. There was the skeleton of a young child with a fractured skull. But it doesn't stop here, because the boy remembered the name of his killer and the address. So the family confronted him about this story, and he actually admitted to the crime.
Worst ways people
What
have
the
died,
hell?
part 3. In 2014, during a Mizoram Football Association match in India, Peter Bayak Zangzula scored a rebound goal after a free kick bounced off the left goalpost. He attempted to do a cartwheel, which he pulled off, but when he tried to do a backflip, he landed on his face awkwardly and broke his back. He was immediately surrounded by teammates and medical staff, but sadly he died 5 days later. In 2015, security footage from inside a mall in China shows Xiang and her 2-year-old son reach the top of an escalator when suddenly a floor panel collapsed, trapping Jiang in the moving escalator. She was able to save her toddler by throwing him out of the way, but she was sucked into the machine and it took rescue workers 4 hours to pull her remains from the cogs of the machine.
What the hell, man?
Here are 5
This is
cute
just
animals that are
small
actually
ways
the
to
spawn of
go.
Satan. I'm about to ruin a lot of cute animals for you. Alright, let's start with the Emperor Penguin, because penguins are cute, right? Wrong! If the Emperor Penguin loses its children, rather than mourning and making more bundles of joy, this is how evil Emperor Penguins are, that they'll just go out and take another penguin's penguin to raise it as its own kid. For about 20 minutes, and then it gets bored of it and abandons it. So basically, it took it just for the lols. Evil! Next up, we have dolphins, and I really shouldn't laugh at this, but these little shits can actually be really evil. For example, in Disney World, dolphins are actually kept separate, because these dolphins came up with a new game. It would catch a stingray in its beak, take it to the surface, and then skim it along the water like a rock. Evil! You may think koalas are cute, but these are actually some weird fucking creatures. Not only have they been known to be more aggressive than a crocodile, but also they make this sound. What in Satan's ringtone was that? Then we have a turtle's mouth and cats. Enough said. Share it in.
Animals, but
Here's
I always thought those were cute, bro.
You have a crush on somebody. You're gonna get butterflies in your stomach, or maybe it feels like your heart's skipping a beat. This is because of adrenaline, and it's just redirecting your blood flow, which can feel pretty weird in your body. The original design for this was to help us run away or fight something off, but when you see your crush, your brain interprets this as a high-stakes event, and even though it doesn't feel like it, it just wants to prepare you. Your pupils are gonna get huge. You don't even have to be talking to them. You can just be thinking about them. Your brain's gonna release dopamine. They're gonna dilate for 2 reasons. 1, it lets in more light. Your vision gets sharper. You're taking in all the details. And 2, it's a very subtle signal that can help somebody feel more like connected and attracted to you on like the most subconscious level. You're gonna get addicted. Like hardcore drugs addicted, except to a person. But don't worry, people can totally handle this concoction of brain hormones in a healthy way. That's a joke, because, you know, when breakups happen, people act crazy because they're literally going through withdrawals.
This Canadian man was just scanning for free sports channels when he accidentally landed on North Korean state TV. And what happened next is wild. They sneakily watch the Premier League. Now, thinking he might get shut out, he quickly began recording the bizarre content playing. And he said once he started watching, he couldn't stop. Sounds about right. He then began uploading tens of hours of it to his YouTube channel for everyone else to watch. Joe was just trying to watch some free Olympics, but ended up feeding unseen North Korean TV to the entire world. Now, as for what programs overnight is dead. You know, it's just these colored bars. But every day, the morning broadcast begins at 8 a.m. sharp with the national anthem and glory songs to former leaders. And for the rest of the day, it's kind of mostly stuff, you'd imagine. Just hours upon hours of songs celebrating the country's greatness, stuff about wars, burning the American flag, and Kim Jong-un getting oiled up. Getting embroiled in conversations about the country's oil reserves. But there are some haymakers in there, like cartoons for children, and even a couple of movies scattered throughout the week, which genuinely look like it was made 50 years ago. No idea what the plotline is, but at the end, their coal mine gets blown up, and boy, Marvel has competition.
What the hell is that?
Oh, and another thing I didn't expect, they play Premier League highlights. No idea how they got the rights for that, but what are they going to do? Tell them to stop? Oh, it does look like they're still on last season as well.
Only 1% of people can finish
The Coal Mine Cinematic Universe confirmed. Imagine like you freaking. First of all, I don't know how you're trying to hack your TV, man. Trying to get some free channels and you come across a North Korea TV. The U.S. government might try to hit you up, bro. They're going to try to figure out how you did that. How you got into that secure access, bro. Be careful out there, man.
this video. The last one is just too scary. What did they catch in their fishing net?
The hell is that in that net? Is that an edit?
You can see if your phone is being spied on by clicking share, clicking more. And if you see this, delete it. What was in this man's ambulance truck?
I ain't never experienced nothing like this. I swear I seen a face in the rearview mirror. No, what the? No, hell no.
You woke up in the middle of the night and see two paths. Which one are you going to pick? Left or right? Let me know down below. An attacker tried breaking into this woman's hotel.
I'm the oldest girl out of 11 siblings, so here's some parenting hacks. Your kid is upset, probably even with you. Do you pull the whole, like, I could give you something to cry about card? No, you psycho. Let's build them some emotional intelligence really quick, okay? All you gotta do is help them label the emotion they're feeling, talk about it, and give them something to do with it. And you know what? You might not even know this yourself, and that's fine. So here's a helpful chart. Positive language can go a long way. I used to do this in customer service on adults, so I guarantee it's going to work on your kid. It's like, instead of saying, sorry that took so long, you say, thank you for your patience. Instead of, don't run, you say, please walk. It reduces their natural instinct to resist you. Do you not want to be one of those decrepit old parents who wonders why their kids never call them anymore? Try fostering a safe environment for them to feel like they can come and talk to you. One way you can do this is when they're young, have everybody in the family write down their mistakes on a piece of paper and put it into a jar. A mistake jar, if you will. Go through that once a week and talk about it, okay? Like,
these are abandoned places
great ideas.
you've never seen. These are Soviet space shuttles that have been abandoned for more than 30 years. Hashima, Japan was known for its underwater coal mine where over 5,000 people lived in the 1950s and was abandoned by the 1970s. This shack was abandoned after Hurricane Katrina and has been untouched since. This is an abandoned church in Greece that is now sitting at a 17-degree angle because of a landslide. This is a Japanese World War II airplane that lies wrecked in shallow water off the coast of Guam. This is an eerie yellow brick road from the Land of Oz abandoned theme park in North Carolina. a library in Detroit that was abandoned after closing in 1996.
Wow.
This is the factory that basically built New York's.
Gotham Steel Factory. Sorry, man. We got to pause on that because that's just history, bro. Built New York City, man. Imagine if they just took down all those, you know, abandoned places and just put up some new land or something, man. That's just like empty space.
This is an
Just
abandoned
around.
train track bridge in California from the late 1800s. This is an abandoned 1950s restaurant. This is a completely abandoned island castle in Ireland.
The Max and Ruby hijacking. In March 2004, the creepiest thing happened when Max and Ruby was hijacked. Many people around the world still can't explain what happened that day. The show was going normal, but when Ruby calls Max, everything goes dark and appears Max with no face.
Wait, Max.
Huh? Oh, no.
It then shows Max and Ruby standing next to a gravestone. To see a video of what happened to the children who saw this, comment show us if you want to see it, and I will show you.
Yeah, show us. We need to see this.
And at the end, with this cryptic message, the episode then turns to normal, as if nothing happened.
If you didn't see Longlegs, go.
Did that really happen? I mean, it must have happened so long ago, man. But damn, that really happened on Max and Ruby? Because, bro, I used to watch that show when I was a kid. I used to watch a couple of episodes of that. It's all in our media, bro. And I never even knew. I could have watched that episode and I could have just forgotten, man.
Oh wait, this is not for you. I'm probably gonna spoil things, so just scroll away from this. For anybody who did see Longlegs, this is the horror movie of the year. So good. But the thing that got me was that even while I was watching, of course the devil is a huge theme of the movie. It's a big undercurrent, but I didn't realize that the devil is in almost every single shot of the movie. I went through some of the earlier scenes with Lee, and the devil is there, background of the frame. That's what I thought was maybe more obvious because clearly Longlegs is in this shot. Again, if you look right behind the devil in the frame, the library scene where the shot is dead center and there's a noise. It draws us directly to the location. I still didn't catch it. The devil is in the frame. Sometimes it's very obvious, it's right there in plain sight, but you still don't even catch it. Other times the devil is kind of shadowed or put into like a corner of the frame. They really did that in almost every scene of the movie.
I heard about Longlegs. Have any of you guys watched that?
Alright? They're born the same time, they're the same age. And now one of them, I will send off at 90% the speed of light. And the other I'll keep down here on Earth. So we can ask, how does their aging rates compare? Okay? Turns out, this twin that I've already sent, his clock ticks 44% as fast as this twin's clock. Our clock here on Earth. So, this twin is aging more slowly than this one. That's at 90% the speed of light. Let's pump it up some more. How about 99% the speed of light? Now the time ticks at only 14% the rate, as it does back here on Earth. How about 99.9%?
Keep up with it.
We're getting closer and closer to the speed of light itself. And at that speed, the clock ticks only 4.5% as fast. So, what does this mean? Tell you what it means. This twin that traveled for 5 years and comes back, if they went at 99.9% the speed of light, after 5 years, they're 5 years older. We have aged 110 years.
Damn.
It's called the twin paradox.
Curtain number one.
Twin paradox, okay.
These are all of this was done without anesthesia. Just awful to think about. And I'm sure all of these were awful to think about. And I'm sorry, but that's why.
I'm going to show you possibly the biggest lie in history, at least if a lie can be measured by money. And that is because it is a lie 2 specific companies would love you to believe. Unfortunately, many say there may be nothing we can do to fix this lie. And the lie is that there is a world's richest person. Currently, this richest person is Elon Musk.
I'm about to say Elon Musk, right?
The darkest organizations want you to believe this. According to Forbes, people like Elon and Jeff Bezos are the world's richest people, but they can only list people whose assets are visible or public knowledge. Try as you might, there are people and organizations with assets so secret it is impossible to calculate their wealth. And since wealth is unfortunately power, this is a problem. For example, there is no way to know the worth of Vladimir Putin or the Saudi family. People can give estimates like saying they're worth $1.4 trillion, but this is nothing more than a guess. Knowing that assets can be hidden leads us to these 2 organizations, BlackRock and Vanguard. And there is good reason many people say these companies run the world. And the strange part is that both of these companies are the biggest investor of the other. For many, this is a massive warning sign, especially since they own a huge stake in all the major news networks. This includes Fox and CNN. And on a side note, they would seem to profit from the rhetoric that keeps us divided, along with having major sway in what the networks can say. Big Pharma, Vanguard owns huge shares in Pfizer. Oil and gas, they hold Shell, even Microsoft. And the scariest part is that they hold majority voting power in many of their investments. So who is the owner of them? They are so heavily invested in each other, it's strange to call them 2 companies. A quick Google search and a legal probe will show you that nobody actually knows who owns them. And because the organization is private, nobody knows who is a member of the company, though Vanguard has said that BlackRock has a unique company structure, which doesn't sound sketchy at all. There is one very public figure, however, and this is Larry Fink. He loves working at deep levels in the government and has no political affiliation because he will go wherever the money flows. He tried being the secretary for Hillary Clinton and was brought on as an advisor for Trump. He plays both sides. We saw this as he tried for the position of secretary for the Biden administration. So with all this mystery around the BlackRock Vanguard group, who is the richest person? If we go back in history, we can see that the Rothschild family is one of BlackRock and Vanguard's biggest holders. And conspiracy theorists have had a heyday with the stories of this family over decades. Other shareholders include the Bush family and even the royal family of England. So though we may know the families tied to these organizations, we may never know who runs them. And these shady individuals clearly have a reason they want to keep it that way. Welcome to the Gleek.com channel as we reveal more about the world of money and crypto.
Man, she was just exposing our world, bro.
This politician's cloaking device came off and he revealed who he really was. Why?
So he's talking? Listen to his voice.
Okay.
Whoa. Whoa. It sounded a little demonic. He's drinking water to try to fix it, and it's not fixing. That was insane. I've never heard anyone's voice crack like that.
Me either.
Stay weird.
There's some things you probably didn't know, because I didn't. Brazil is by far the country that takes the most showers every 12 hours on average. This man spent 5 months in jail because no one told him his bail was just $2. The Sahara Desert sends millions of tons of dust every year across the Atlantic to the Amazon rainforest. The dust is full of nutrients like phosphorus and iron, which is what actually keeps the Amazon rainforest alive and green. A woman in 2005 named Susan Bennett spent 4 hours a day recording random phrases and sentences, not knowing the purpose. It wasn't until 2011, after a friend who had bought the new iPhone 4S told her that she was the voice of Apple's Siri assistant. A recent study says that the ideal age to get married and have a lot of babies is 26 years old. They say that people who marry at this age have the lowest divorce rates, highest marital satisfaction, and better long-term stability compared to those who marry earlier or later. They say you're mature enough to make informed decisions, but young enough to have the energy and biological advantage for childbearing.
There is absolutely nothing that can convince me that this is not a two-way
two-way mirror in the kitchen. And that's a listing photo from this property that was recently for sale in Pennsylvania. Here's another view of it from outside just for good measure. And then this is what you see as soon as you walk in. A mirror in the kitchen, not one, but two. And while I don't think this one is a two-way mirror, it still just seems unnecessary to have this in the kitchen, especially when it's facing another mirror. Isn't that bad feng shui? Now at first glance, I thought that these were drag marks, which we have seen in prior listings, but it becomes abundantly clear as you begin to look at more listing photos that this was caused from a hoarding issue, which makes it all the more upsetting when you see evidence of children living in this space. While I must admit that the pink bathtub is kind of a vibe, what's not a vibe is this room. This room fills me with an overwhelming sense of dread. I can't tell you what happened here. Maybe it was nothing, but whatever it is, I don't like it. Am I alone in this, or is anyone else feeling what I'm feeling?
Africa. How is that house worth $40,000, man? The housing market is insane, bro.
Wants a new world map, calling the current one the world's longest misinformation campaign. This week, the African Union officially backed what's called the Correct Map campaign, which aims to replace our current standardized world map with a version that shows a country's true size. You see, the Mercator map intentionally distorts the sizes of continents and countries for navigation purposes. So it appears that Africa is a similar size to the US or China, when in reality it is so much bigger that the US, China, India, Japan, and much of Western Europe can all fit into Africa, and there still would be space left over. The African Union says that this over 500-year-old map is outdated, and are now calling for schools, governments, and international institutions to adopt images that reflect a country's true size. They propose the Equal Earth projection because they say this is so much more than just a map. It's about Africa's identity and pride. In fact, the head of a campaign group backing this says it's the world's longest misinformation and disinformation campaign, and it simply has to stop. But the question is, what do you think? Does size truly matter, or is the current map fine the way it is?
I don't think they're gonna try to change it.
Live every day as if it's your last, because one day it will be. That statement holds true for these two influencers that were doing a food review sitting in a restaurant when all of a sudden their lives almost changed forever. If you haven't seen the video, it is a little shocking, so viewer discretion is advised. Take a look at this. Bon appetit. Enjoying their food in the restaurant when, wait for it, SUV crashes right through the restaurant where they're recording their food review. Just look at that in slow motion, how dramatic and scary that had to be for both. Thank goodness the two of them walked away with just minor injuries. It could have been the end for both. Nina Unrated and Patrick Blackwood are known for their food reviews all over social media. They are two incredibly great people, and we are grateful that they're both still with us today. This is the moment right here that possibly could have changed their lives forever. As I said at the beginning of this video, live every day as if it's your last, because one day it will be. And we are grateful that these two are with us today to give us another food review. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
Gotta live it up, man. You never know.
How you feel about this now abandoned indoor water park that had a giant T-Rex in it in Scotland, by the way. Like, just knowing that this water park is still there, but abandoned, probably completely closed off to the public, in the complete darkness, possibly still with water in it, who knows, with this giant T-Rex in it. Also, why does it have, like, the B word in its mouth? The red stuff. What? Oh my goodness, I just noticed that. There's also this guy there.
It's a dragon.
For some reason. That is equally horrifying. The shape of it looks like a pipe. I don't much care for him and his creepy teeth. It was called the Time Capsule, and here's it when it was like going, and once again in Scotland, like this, there's a wave pool back here, so there's the ones with the grates, and oh my goodness. Also, this looks like something straight out of the back rooms. I don't like this whatsoever. Who wants to go on the launch pad of doom? They also had a giant water slide Ussie in there. Why? More backrooms coated area. The fact that this is all abandoned now is just sickening. But especially that T-Rex. Imagine going down this little slide and just being in front of this T-Rex in water. Why would they do this?
Did you go to that part?
Give me your answer. I'm crazy for the love of you. I was married. I can't afford the carry. But you sweet upon the seat of a bicycle field for
Or should I pop out right there?
I don't think y'all understand. You cannot fucking make this shit up, y'all. We now have fucking squirrels with warts. Oozing warts. Oozing warts. They're calling them zombie squirrels. So we just had fucking rabbits with horns or tentacles growing out their face, their head. Now we got zombie squirrels? Look at this shit! They're calling this disease fibromatosis that squirrels have. Once again, y'all, I have never heard of this shit. I've never seen no fucking squirrel having this shit on their skin either. And I don't want to see it. Imagine you in your backyard and you just see an army of squirrels with this on their body running at you and shit. And the fucking Jones just start popping and oozing out shit. What is you doing? I know what I'm doing. Grabbing that motherfucking... Once again, y'all, wildlife experts say you shouldn't be concerned about this stuff. It doesn't spread to your animals or to you or to anybody you know. And once again, when they say that shit, I still be alarmed like, you saying it, but what if it do spread to me? Now I got big ass warts all over my body, nigga. Y'all let me know down below in the comments. Is this new to you? Have you heard about this before? Let me know. And if you seen this in your backyard, what are you doing? And if you made it to the end of this video, I appreciate you.
It is literally going to disappear in 2 days' time. If you didn't get a chance to see the meteor shower that's extremely rare, then make sure you watch this and share this with someone. This is actually even rarer, and it will not happen again until 2027 or 2028.
Okay.
This is known as the Black Moon, and we will literally be getting a Black Moon. Although this sounds scary, it's not, and it will be a chance for you to see some pretty insane things if the sky is clear. It is the third new moon of the season, which actually makes it a black moon, which is very rare. As I say, it's estimated to happen again in 2028 or 2027. It happens when it's in the new moon phase, as I say, and the illuminated side is actually facing away from Earth, meaning it's completely invisible to us. So wherever you are, you won't even be able to see the moon. It will just vanish, and you'll probably look up and go, what the hell, even if it's a clear night. Although you won't actually see anything, you're going to be able to see something else. With no light source, the sky will be so dark, making it a perfect opportunity to see the stars, stargaze, see comets passing, whatever else is up there. You don't often get a chance like this, so if you can get out of a city to somewhere with little light pollution, you're going to see some pretty crazy things.
What's going on these days? This kid just admitted to killing his mother while she was asleep because she took his phone away. To be honest, this isn't even a kid, this is a grown man. He's 21 years old, got mad at his mother that she took his phone, killed her. Now he's gonna spend 30 years behind bars because of this. He was 16 years old at the time when he came home from a night shift and shot his mom, you know. Instead of giving the phone back, she went upstairs and she just went to sleep, you know, she took the phone away, whatever. But instead of sneaking in the room and getting a firearm and stuff like that and shooting your mom, why don't you just sneak in the room and grab the phone and just go downstairs? That would have solved two issues right there. You know, he would be going to jail and he would have had his phone back. He then called his girlfriend to say he found his mom covered in blood in the bed, you know, acting like he didn't do it. You know, the girlfriend's dad came over, saw that she was dead, and then the guy's stories just did not match up whatsoever. Eventually, he was just like, screw it, you know, he admitted to killing her after a while. Because he was a juvenile, too, at the time, that's why he probably didn't get a life sentence or, like, you know, the death penalty if they have that where they're from in Tennessee. But this is such a senseless case.
Here's some
Over a
crazy
phone?
examples of
Really?
the Mandela effect, part 4. Do you remember sitting at your TV as a kid and seeing this come on?
Nah, you unk status if you did though. Looney Tunes the OG.
Most people will recall this being spelled like this. However, this was never the case. It was always spelled as tunes, not tunes.
If you bought or plan on buying Great Value shrimp, you better think twice about it. So the FDA is warning the public not to eat, serve, or sell Walmart's Great Value shrimp. And they're telling you this because it got contaminated with a radioactive substance. You heard what I just said? Walmart could be possibly selling radioactive shrimp. So apparently they detected these radioactive shrimp before they crossed the border. And if you didn't know, they were coming from an Indonesian distributor. And what they're saying this means is that none of these radioactive shrimp made it across the border. Or did they? But hear this out. This shit is becoming real convenient. First you have radioactive bees. Now you have radioactive shrimp. Now they're saying that all products are going to be banned from coming into the United States from this company. But what company are they talking about? Are they talking about Great Value? Or are they talking about the Indonesian company that they was getting the shrimp from? Think about it as this. Great Value is a cheap option. People usually like to get the cheap option. Is this the only time we're going to have to worry about a situation like this? Radioactive shrimp? What's next? I'm out.
He's spitting, bro. Everybody, man, when it comes to that price range, bro, they were always gonna go for the cheaper option. I wouldn't eat freaking buy seafood from freaking Walmart like that anyway. That's just not me, man. But we got radioactive shrimp, radioactive freaking hornets. Man, what's going on this year, bro? There's a lot of radioactive activity.
Ever heard of Skinny Bob?
This is scary. It sounds scary.
It's a little spooky. Skinny Bob was this random video posted by this channel, Ivan0135 on YouTube. And this video was posted 11 years ago. But in this video, a collection of videos from 1942 to 1969 of interviewing an alien. The crazy thing about this Ivan0135 dude, never monetized the videos, never came out and said who it was. So you look at that and you think that does kind of look like it'd be CGI or something, right?
Yeah.
It's been tested by studios and it has not been discredited yet.
Ever?
They said the way that it was filmed, because it was filmed on like one of those old cameras.
Yeah.
They said it was completely accurate with an old camera. The theories are that it was a real government film. Some believe that it's connected to the Majestic 12 group. That's basically what we would call the Men in Black now.
Okay.
But it's a group of like different
division of that, the CIA.
Government, yeah.
That just focuses on that.
Some believe that was actually from the KGB too. No one's taking credit for it either.
Maybe that was the whole thing. It's like, I can't put my name on this, but I can put it out.
It's insane.
Now, of course, Google will tell you these inventors were nothing but con men, liars, frauds, or just scientists with great ideas who didn't know any better. It will also tell you 0-point energy is impossible, and anyone who stands up for it or even talks about it is attacked or shamed for spreading misinformation. Google debunkers, compliant NPCs who believe they can irrefutably debunk any extreme claim with a 5-second Google search, truly are the downfall of society. The modern-day version of Vladimir Lenin's useful idiot. Google debunkers. Love you guys. You're not allowed to talk like that. You present your theories as if they are fact.
Morbid Facts, Part 702. Carlos Haffy Rodriguez was ejected through a windshield in a drug-fueled crash as a teenager, smashing his skull so badly that surgeons had to remove the entire upper half of it, leaving his brain covered only by skin. Incredibly, he survived without any severe cognitive damage, but went on to rack up arrests for drugs, arson, and other crimes, his caved-in head becoming one of the internet's most infamous mugshots. Here's a photo of tobacco company CEOs declaring under oath that nicotine is not addictive. The moment became infamous when internal documents later revealed that tobacco executives had known for decades about nicotine's highly addictive properties and had even manipulated nicotine levels in cigarettes to enhance dependency. In 18th century Europe, the wealthy often devoured sugar with no real dental care, rotting their teeth into black stumps that often fell out. To keep up appearances, they wore dentures, not wooden as legend claims, but often filled with real human teeth. These were bought from the poor, pulled from slaves or prisoners, or scavenged from battlefields, sometimes still bloody from fallen soldiers. With no concept of sterilization, they could carry infections, even syphilis, into the wearer's mouth. In advanced cases, the disease could slowly eat away at the face, collapsing the nose and leaving a grotesque hollow mask where features used to be.
So they
Your nicotine fact was insane.
Me taking the natural process away, I don't too much like that. What make this more interesting is look who's behind this project. But y'all let me know y'all thoughts on this video in the comments on what y'all think about them just making food poof out of thin air from a machine. In the comments, like or follow for more wisdom. Stay tuned.
People are now mad at Jenna Ortega after what she just said on the newest red carpet for Wednesday season 2, and people are not happy with Jenna's response. So after Jenna Ortega was at a Wednesday red carpet in South Korea, after people are saying that Jenna Ortega was giving an interviewer a hard time, and even more worse, so this is all coming after some strange behavior that Jenna has been doing on the other Wednesday red carpets. They're saying that she is being shy one moment, then happy the next, as well as other moments where she has been crashing out on fans that have been asking for autographs, with a lot of people saying that there seems to be something wrong and that all of this drama in South Korea makes everything so much more worser. And this is where it gets even more insaner. So what happened is that on the red carpet in South Korea, where a magician was doing a magic trick to Jenna Ortega, the magician asked her what kind of card that Jenna Ortega had, and her response was spade. And seemingly the magician asked her if she could repeat what she said, and then Jenna was seemingly not happy that she had to repeat herself, and the way that she said spade the second time, should people really be mad over this?
So this guy drags a magnet across sand on a beach and picks up a bunch of heavy metals, and you'll actually see him melt down these metals, and it's interesting what you see at the end here. Perhaps aluminum, you know, something that they admit that they're spraying in the skies. Look at this, he melts it, takes some water. Where do you think this is coming from, guys? Where do you think these heavy metals are coming from?
3D printed steak is here. Let me show you this, and after I do, I'll tell you why it's not so great.
A juicy, sizzling steak made by computer. While obtaining regular meat is a process that's been taking place for millennia, cow, butcher, beef, Redefined Meat, a meat alternative startup out of Israel, makes their product using a highly technical process. The mix of soy and pea protein, chickpeas, beetroot, nutritional yeast, and coconut fat is formed into steak-like shapes using a 3D printer.
Our goal is to become the largest meat company in the world just by harnessing technology instead of animals.
Meat substitutes are not new, but unlike the soy-based crumbles that mimic ground beef, Redefined Meat's product is designed to act, taste, and cut with happy.
The texture feels right, even the smell smells like the real thing. Really authentic for me.
Now, I'm not going to talk about that company at all. But if somebody else is making 3D printed meat, how can we possibly know what's really in it? Especially if it tastes like the real thing. There's this stuff called microplastics that's become so prevalent from all the stuff that people have made with plastics that it's being found in human tissue. Who's to say some company making 3D printed meat couldn't accidentally put some of that in there? Look, I'm gonna keep eating the way I do, because I'm old, fat, and the damage is done for me. But to the younger people out there, I say, please be cautious. Because after stories like this, you never know what you're really eating.
Inside his co-worker's water bottle and infected everyone with STDs? Imagine this, you clock into work every morning and fill up your bottle using the water dispenser at the office. But little do you know, you're actually drinking someone's urine. This all happened in Houston when employees at a medical office began noticing that the water dispenser had a sour taste and smell to it. This weird taste and smell was going on for days, and mind you, people were still drinking this water despite the nasty smell and taste. But one employee decided that she was done drinking this water, and instead she began bringing her own water from home. Of course, there were days she didn't finish all her water and left the bottle in her office overnight and then drank it the next day. But it wasn't long until this employee began noticing that the water she brought from home also began having a disgusting smell and taste. She finally decided to do something about this when her co-worker offered to make her a coffee and used the water from her bottle, and they noticed that it smelled like urine. So at this point, these two employees spoke to the doctor at the facility, and they agreed to do a urine test on the water dispenser, and it came back positive. Now that they knew someone was urinating in the water dispenser, they wanted to find out who this psychopath was, so they set up a hidden camera in the office, and you won't believe what they saw. They caught the janitor, 53-year-old Lucio Diaz, unzip his pants, put his thing inside the bottle, and urinate inside. He then put the cap back on the bottle and returned it to the same spot it was. The employees went straight to the police, and when Lucio was questioned, he admitted to everything and said that he did it out of malicious intent. But this horror story doesn't even end there, because Lucio then told police that he had a sickness. When police asked him to elaborate, he told them that he had STDs and chlamydia. 13 employees had a panel of STD tests performed a few days later, which came back positive for herpes, which is something they never had. This evil man was charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, but he was only sentenced to 6 years in prison.
Not enough, man.
You never knew. The last one will shock you. Research shows that dog owners would rather hang out with their dogs instead of go out and hang out with other people. Only 1% of people can do this. None of you can completely spell your name one word at a time in the comments below without being interrupted. Human sleep is much more bizarre than we think. Not sleeping can lead to death faster than not eating, according to research. And 1 night of sleep loss requires 4 days to recover. Would you rather lose 2 of your fingers or kiss the third person who appears when you click share and then more? Sometimes houses in Montana get buried by tumbleweeds. If you Google cha-cha slide and click on the microphone on the right, your Google page will actually start doing the cha-cha slide. Go try it and then come back and let me know if it works. Before we get to the last fact, please support my page by following me for more interesting facts every day. Scientists were able to implant fake memories into the brains of snails, allowing them to recall experiences they've never had. This could be a good thing or a bad thing for the future of human biotechnology.
This is the scariest dinosaur that ever walked the earth. Most people probably think that the Tyrannosaurus Rex is the meanest, scariest dinosaur out there. But that's actually wrong. This is the Spinosaurus, and it lived 100 million years ago. The Spinosaurus was way bigger than the T-Rex.
It was?
Measuring at over 50 feet long and weighing anywhere from 7 to 20 tons. These guys are most known for the 5-foot tall spine on their back, as well as their 6-foot long alligator-like mouth. And just when you thought this couldn't get any worse, in 2014, scientists discovered that many Spinosauruses spent a lot of time underwater, meaning that if this thing was chasing you down, there would be nowhere to hide.
No escape from the Spinosaurus Rex.
The first person to live forever is already alive, at least according to Neil deGrasse Tyson, who explains it with irrefutable logic. It starts with someone that was born in like the past year or so. Our test subject, call him Johnny Boy. The reason Johnny, or any of us, age is because our cells are constantly dividing, making fresh copies of our DNA in each new cell. Our DNA is packed into chromosomes, and since DNA duplication isn't perfect, the tips of these chromosomes are slightly trimmed on every replication. Sort of like making a photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy. The quality slightly degrades each time. To protect against this, our chromosomes have something called telomeres on their tips, which essentially contain junk DNA data that we can afford to lose. But even these telomeres are finite. They get shorter and shorter on every duplication until at some point they're fully gone. Then the cell stops dividing, gradually loses its function, and withers away. The more this happens in our cells, the more we age, and our bodies experience age-related characteristics. Scientists like David Sinclair are currently getting really close to reversing this process in human cells. He's developed what he refers to a chemical cocktail that can reprogram the way our cells are read to sort of fill in the blanks from these imperfections in our DNA replication. The science behind it is quite extensive, and he ran tests on lab mice that were incredibly successful. Having mice born at the same time, with one looking visibly older than the other, says that human trials are planned to start within the decade, and it's just a matter of time before we start seeing success in that. So where does this live forever come from? Obviously, the first version of this cocktail won't be perfect and may extend human life to, let's say, 150 years. Now remember our test subject, Johnny Boy. In 20 years, he'll be 20, at which time we're almost guaranteed to be undergoing human trials at the very least, if not already publicly available. This life potion is given to Johnny so that he can live until 150. The claim states that by the time Johnny is 40, we're almost guaranteed to make enough advancement to double the anti-aging cocktail so that now he can live till 300. 20 years later, when he's 60, the potion will be improved so that he can live till 500 years old. By the time he's 80, he can live till 1,000. These numbers are all arbitrary, but the general principle still holds up. Even if we start seeing diminishing returns in the improvements of this concoction, concoction, Johnny has already hacked his way into living forever. He can already live till 1,000 at this point, so even if it takes 100 more years to improving the medicine to living till, say, 2,000 years old, he'll live until then and take it, constantly outliving the improvement curve of anti-aging until they've cracked the code to the million-year potion, at which point Johnny Boy is essentially immortal, which means one of two things absolutely must happen in our future. One, we colonize other planets, or two, we stop having babies. If people are living forever and no longer dying, our population will continue to grow and just grow and grow. At which point we either need more space to put people, like other planets, or we gotta stop making people. So unless we want to sterilize the entire human race, living forever probably isn't a good idea until we figure this multi-planetary business out.
This bird eats almost
That's crazy.
nothing but bones. This is a lammergeier and it's a scavenger, meaning it eats animals that are already dead. But instead of going for meat like everyone else, this Satan sweetie goes for bone and bone marrow. Since they have stomach acid that'll probably make your hand see through, they can swallow entire bones without flinching. But if a bone is too big, the bearded vulture will pick it up, fly up to 500 feet in the air, and then drop it down to the rocks below. If it hits somebody and takes them off the census, that's just a bonus. Since bone marrow is like crack to this bird, they'll drop the same bone from the sky up to 50 times just so they can get a taste. And sometimes the lammergeier will violate tortoises by literally airdropping them hundreds of feet until their shell shatters. According to legend, Greek playwright Aeschylus became a Twitter bot after a vulture airdropped a tortoise from the clouds right onto the back of his head. Okay, double homicide. Also, this flying Grim Reaper isn't a natural redhead. They get that color from rubbing iron oxide-rich soil on themselves like war paint. They do it on purpose. We just don't really know why. Also, the biggest ones have a wingspan of more than 9 feet. For reference, this guy's is a 7'3". Moral of this video, dinosaurs never left. They've been here the whole fucking time.
Really? I don't know. A bird that just eats strictly bones? Kinda hard to walk my mind around, bro.
Bone-chilling animals you'll be glad to hear are extinct. Part 1. The Titanoboa was the largest snake to ever exist. They were over 50 feet long, 2,500 pounds, and killed their prey by squeezing them like a modern-day boa constrictor. The Gigantopithecus roamed Asia until about 100,000 years ago. They were over 10 feet tall, but luckily, they're vegetarians. However, this doesn't mean that they didn't use their massive strength against humans who tried to attack them. The Arthropleura lived 300 million years ago. They're very similar to modern-day centipedes or millipedes, however, they grew up to 9 feet tall and had little to no predators. The Mosasaurus were massive sea creatures that grew up to 50 feet long and had heads very similar to crocodiles. They had hundreds of rows of very sharp teeth, making them the most dangerous sea predators. Like and follow if you want to see part 2.
Also, Caesar best friend.
You never knew. The last one is shocking. When the inventor of the Frisbee, Walter Morrison, died, he was cremated and turned into a Frisbee. If your friendship lasts more than 6 years, psychologists claim it'll last a lifetime. Your true love is the second person that appears when you click on share, slide all the way down, and click more. In 2018, a pig in Australia stole 18 beers from a campsite, got drunk, and then tried to fight a cow. No one can comment under this video and get 0 likes. If there is a comment with 0 likes, that means they are the chosen one. Dysania is the state of a person having difficulty getting up in the morning. Want to know that one thing you're missing right now? Type I miss or I need down below and let your keyboard finish the sentence. Before the last fact, support me by clicking on the follow button for more interesting facts every day. A woman named Valentina Vasilieva and her husband Fyodor had the record for having the most children ever, 69 of them. She gave birth to 16 pairs of twins, 7 sets of triplets, and 4 sets of quadruplets, for a total of 27 birds. I don't know how she did that.
This true story about a young boy's paranormal experience will freak you the fuck out. If you don't believe in the paranormal, just wait. So a 4-year-old boy who lived in the U of the K, the land of the sheep, had an apparent imaginary friend, a tall, kind, older woman, and he would commonly sit on the family steps of the home talking to her late at night. Now the parents didn't see anything wrong with it. So to be honest, it's pretty normal having an imaginary friend at this point. However, one day the young boy goes to his parents and tells them something that she told him to tell them. It was an address, a location, which no one in the immediate family recognized. However, a couple days later, while drinking a nice cup of tea with a longtime family friend, they were informed that this address was the house in which the dad's mother had grew up in as a child, because unfortunately she had passed away long before the 4-year-old was born. Now let me stress, this house hadn't been visited in decades. The boy nor the parents had ever gone there in their entire lives. So how did he know the address? So now the family are kind of freaked out. They're thinking, what is living in our house? Because there's no way the 4-year-old should have ever known this, because even the parents hadn't ever gone to that house. Oh, one more thing about the story. The 4-year-old boy was actually me. You won't believe what happened next.
It was him, so he knew what was going on in this house? Was the ghost communicating with him? That's the only way.
Horrifying fact about demons part 2. Click applause, drop a like, tag a friend, or you might become haunted. If you fall asleep on your back, you actually have a higher chance of having sleep paralysis. Women actually have more nightmares than men do. 12% of people actually dream entirely in black and white.
The United States has
just
dropped a metaphorical nuclear bomb on India. Because right before the weekend kicked off, Trump signed an order that sent the tech industry into chaos. He announced a $100,000 fee on a visa for skilled foreign workers. And if you look here, India represents a staggering 70% of those approved on this visa. In fact, the entire rest of the world combined doesn't even come close. It's called the H-1B visa, and it was created in 1990 in response to a labor shortage in America. And since then, applications have been steadily growing. In fact, approvals for the H-1B peaked in 2022 when over 442,000 were accepted in 1 year alone. Now remember, those on the H-1B visa are educated and talented and have a median wage of $118,000. You need to hold either a bachelor's degree, master's degree, or higher. Because of that, they contribute an estimated $86 billion annually to the economy and pay a combined $35 billion in taxes. However, Trump argues that there's a big downside to this. He says that Americans often lose out on job opportunities because large American employers like Amazon, HP, etc. take advantage of these visas and hire foreign workers that are willing to accept lower wages. But not everyone agrees with Trump. Many point out that some of America's best and brightest were once on these visas and then eventually turned into CEOs of Google, Microsoft, Zoom, Tesla, hell, even the First Lady of the United States. And not only that, but there's also the argument that many of these employers turn to these visas because they can't find enough qualified American workers to fill the same job. But the question is, in 5 years' time, what do you see happening? More American jobs filled by Americans, or a slump in American competitiveness and innovation?
Tell me down below.
If you haven't been following her story, let me catch you up. In 2024, 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez was reported missing from her hometown of Lake Elsinore, California. Her whereabouts remained a mystery until earlier this month, when her remains were found inside the trunk of a Tesla. Police received a report of a foul smell coming from this car, which had been abandoned in the Hollywood Hills in California. Neighbors said the car had been there for about a month, so police went, inspected it, brought it to the impound lot, and upon inspection, human remains were found in the trunk. They had been wrapped inside a bag, and authorities believe that the body was put in the trunk about 5 days before it was towed to the impound lot. The victim was identified as 15-year-old Celeste, and her cause of death has been listed as deferred, meaning the investigation, testing, and autopsy is ongoing. It has been discovered that the vehicle was registered to singer David, whose legal name is David Anthony Burke. A search warrant was executed at a Hollywood Hills address associated with David, and police said several items of evidence were recovered, and that investigators are following several leads. However, 20-year-old David has not been charged or named a suspect. He has been on tour, and he has since canceled all his remaining tour dates. The investigation into Celeste's death is ongoing. There are rumors that they were together, that David got her pregnant, and tons of other crazy theories, but we don't know if any of this is true yet. Police have not come out with any of this information, and for now, the investigation remains ongoing. There was a candlelight vigil for Celeste last night, and dozens of people showed up in support. Rest in peace, Celeste, and hopefully you will be getting justice.
Hi, I'm Kim. This is the Woodburn family murders. Mark Gago used knives, an axe, a sword, and guns to murder 4 family members in a gruesome rampage. On January 19, 2020, police received a call from Pamela Bremer at a rural home in Southern Oregon. On the call, Pamela told the dispatcher, "I have got the baby protected. Nobody's touching the baby." She told the dispatcher that her son had broken somebody's neck and that she needed somebody now. 5 minutes later, Mark Gago, her son, threw a knife at her. She was holding the baby. Police didn't enter the house until an hour after the call was made. They finally went in and they found 64-year-old Pamela and 9-month-old Olivia Gago brutally murdered. Mark had also murdered his stepfather, 66-year-old Jerry Bremer. He also killed his girlfriend, 31-year-old Shayna Schweitzer. Police said they found Shayna dead with a bloody shovel at her feet. Pamela and baby Olivia were on the floor nearby with massive head trauma. They walked down a dark hallway to find an overturned wheelchair and the headless body of Jerry Bremer. One officer told detectives that it looked like somebody had a blower with, red paint and just coated the walls. There was a glimmer of hope when they heard the voice of an 8-year-old girl.
What made him do that? The world is crazy. Yeah, middle of the night. Went pitch black.
On August 18th, 2010, Ben McDaniel, who was 30 years old, walked to the end of the pier, put on all of his diving equipment, and jumped in the water. He slowly descended 115 feet and came to a stop right in front of a very famous underwater sign. The sign very clearly tells anybody who sees it, do not go any farther unless you are absolutely certain this is the right thing for you to be doing. If you go farther, you're probably going to die, like the 300 other people that have died doing this particular activity. He swam right past that sign and went 300 feet to the very famous underwater locked gate. Now, the only people that have keys to this are extremely experienced divers, and even they don't typically go into this area because it's so dangerous. Ben was not one of the very experienced divers that was given a key, but he still desperately wanted to get to the other side of the gate. So he's sitting there yanking on the gate, and he's getting himself kind of pushed inside halfway through the gate. He can't quite get it open. And another diver saw him doing this and was actually concerned that Ben was going to get trapped on the gate itself and would just drown on the gate. And so this diver comes over and uses his key, and maybe against his better judgment opened it, thinking that that was better than him getting stuck on the gate. Ben turns to look at him, gives him a nod, thank you, and he, on his own, swims into one of, if not the single most dangerous underwater caves in the whole world. It's called Vortex Spring Cave. From the locked gate, this cave extends another 1,600 feet and goes down to a depth of 310 feet. The majority of this section of the cave is mapped, but there are sections that are not fully explored because they're so narrow where you have to literally take off your gear, wriggle through a hole, pull your gear through and put it back on, all the while you're barely holding onto your mouthpiece. And so really the full extent of this section of the cave is not known. While we don't know exactly what Ben did when he went through that gate and entered into this extremely dangerous cave, we do know that he didn't come out again. And after a couple of days and no one had seen him, they launched this massive search for him, and they combed as much as they could of inside of that cave, but there were sections that they were just not prepared to go search. And so he was never recovered. All they ever found were 2 of Ben's dive bottles.
I apologize for the jump scare, but the video at the end.
Stay away from those
way
areas.
worse. This is Lucy, a giant fake Loch Ness monster that was actually put in Loch Ness to trick people. In 2005, a whole bunch of Scottish people, they decided to prank people in Loch Ness and make this giant 30-foot long, this is so disgusting for people with submechanophobia, aka myself, and yeah, this is disgusting. They made it in 2005 and they tricked people and they put this thing out there before sunrise. They put it in there at night, to scare people, and this is what it looks like. And at daytime, people were like, oh my god, the Loch Ness Monster is real, and it's not. It was just this monstrosity. Here's another photo of it underwater. That is disgusting. And I know the Loch Ness Monster isn't real, but like, would you consider it a dinosaur? Would you put it in the same category as a dinosaur? Because I'm definitely tagging this under dinosaur.
I would.
And yeah, this is kind of what, like Nessie looks like. This is some guy that worked on it in the water with it, and that's how big it is in comparison, which it's 9 meters long, which is around 30 feet. It's disgusting. The full documentary about the building of it and the tricking of the people is actually on YouTube. It's about an hour long. It's called Loch Ness Monster, The Ultimate Experiment. It is fascinating. This is what bro looks like. Watch this video and let me know what you're thinking. And is this freaky or not?
Pulled off the ultimate prank, bro, building the Loch Ness Monster just to trick the I guess believers. That's crazy work, man. Imagine somebody saw that, bro. They would think that's real, bro. That's how realistic it looks. You couldn't tell the difference between conspiracy and not. I found it, bro. Why you booking them, bro? Somebody chased it.
A mom was accused of murdering her precious little 3-year-old girl pictured here a few days ago. Reportedly, Lauren was a mom of 3 children, and she was accused of fatally stabbing her 3-year-old little girl named Sophia. Sophia was her oldest daughter. She stabbed her in the front yard of their home in Moore Park Beach. This was on Monday, May 26th. so just under a week ago. Authorities received several calls from neighbors about the stabbing, but unfortunately, the little girl was deceased when emergency services found her, and that was right before 5 p.m. that afternoon. Lauren was then taken into custody and charged. A knife was also seized that police say was the murder weapon. There were also said to be 2 other children who were ages 1 and 2 at the home at the time of the murder, but luckily they were not harmed. They are now being cared for by family members. According to reports, Lauren had posted several odd and eerie messages on social media in the days leading up to killing her daughter. She reportedly shared a video of a woman with bruises on her arm, and it was captured, "Remember your pain as it fuels your purpose." She also included lyrics from the heavy metal music group called Disturbed, their song Prayer, which said, "Another nightmare about to come true will manifest tomorrow, another love that I've taken from you." In other posts on social media, she referenced training like it's war, I'm not sure what kind of training, and being a warrior of light. She then captioned a photo of her children, calling them her divine babies. And other posts were said to have been about past trauma that Lauren had gone through. So it definitely sounds like she had some mental issues going on in the days before she killed her daughter. It's not yet been reported exactly how she died just yet, but it's always just really strange when people die when they're in custody or in jail. For more updates into this case and other true crime news, make sure to hit follow and subscribe over on YouTube.
In a truly awful story, a 5-year-old girl was stabbed and strangled by her own mother whilst heartbreakingly screaming, "But I've been good," in an attempt to save her life. 5-year-old Nicole Townsend, Texas, was killed by her own mother, 37-year-old Melissa, who claimed she didn't want to deal with her anymore. She even admitted to detectives herself that she ignored her daughter's pleas to save her life by crying, "But I've been good," instead telling her not to fight her. Documents show that she drove the child to a wooded area before slitting her throat. When that didn't kill her, she put a plastic bag over her head to suffocate her before strangling her to death. In a turn of events, she actually drove to hospital with Nicole's body in the car. She went inside the hospital and asked the nurse to assist her daughter, whose body was hurting, only for nurses to meet a tragic sight, seeing the girl with plastic wrapped around her head and her throat cut. It still remains unclear why she had the child in the first place, as it's reported by local outlets she didn't have legal custody. She has been arrested and her bond has been set at $15 million.
After reading about what happened to Danny Santulli, I don't know why more people aren't talking about it. Last year, Danny was an 18-year-old freshman at the University of Missouri when he suffered severe brain damage from alcohol poisoning during an alleged hazing incident. On October 19th, Danny, as well as all of the other pledges to the Phi Gamma Delta fraternity, were seen on security footage being blindfolded and led downstairs for a ritual known as Pledge Dad Reveal Night. Danny was then pressured to drink an entire bottle of vodka by himself. At 10:55 p.m., Danny is seen collapsing onto the floor, where frat members then carry him to a sofa. A little after midnight, Danny is seen sliding off the couch and onto the floor. 30 minutes later, a few frat members found Danny unresponsive and lips blue, but instead of calling 911, they pick him up and load him into a car, but not before dropping him. So they drove him to the University of Missouri Hospital, but he was already in cardiac arrest. Thankfully, he was resuscitated, but Danny spent the next 6 weeks in the ICU. He's back home with his family now, but he will need care for the rest of his life. He completely lost his vision, and he's in a wheelchair, unable to walk or talk. Seems to be a clear case of severe hazing to many, but so far, the Boone County Prosecutor's Office won't enforce the state's anti-hazing law. In fact, only one frat member was criminally charged in this case, and it was 2 misdemeanors for supplying alcohol to a minor. The University of Missouri has ejected the frat from campus and has sanctioned 13 frat members over the incident, but Danny's family wants criminal hazing charges to be brought. An online petition was created to hopefully ensure that this happens and that the case is investigated properly. The link is in my bio if you'd like to sign.
He was just trying to fit in, and look what happened, man.
Jobs was known to put his feet in public toilets as a way to relieve his stress. There was a swarm of 20,000 bees that followed a car for 2 days because their queen bee was trapped inside. 90% of people in China and Singapore now own their homes. In the US and Canada, that number is only 65%. In Germany and Switzerland, that number is only 43%, but it's because they have specific incentives for long-term renting, and they have strong tenant protections that we just don't have. NASA dumps 500,000 gallons of water on their rockets before takeoff just to make sure, it doesn't blow itself up. There was a study of over 1 million comments from over 15 years of relationship advice on the subreddit for relationship advice. The red line on this graph is the advice to just end the relationship, and you can tell from 2010 to 2025, that advice got a lot more poked. 13 Call of Duty games have come out since Grand Theft Auto 5.
Sorry, guys, what? Seriously, if you're about to drink cold water, don't, apparently. Don't ever do it again. I mean, first of all, it's don't drink fizzy drinks. They're bad for you. Then, obviously, you've got to drink filtered water or bottled water or whatever. But now, just don't drink water at all, apparently. I don't actually believe I'm saying this, but saw this video the other day, take a quick watch.
If you're drinking cold water, or even your cold beverages, listen up. This can have serious implications on your digestion.
Now, this guy claims that if you drink cold water, it's actually extremely bad for you. Apparently, cold and freezing water causes serious implications in your digestive system when you actually drink it. It doesn't really make that much sense, if I'm being honest with you. As I say, a lot of doctors claim this is true. They literally say, no, if you drink cold, really, really cold water, you could actually die at some point. Die? But there is no actual evidence in supporting this, so I don't really get it. But a lot of people are warning people to just drink room temperature water, which, yeah, I'm alright, thanks, mate. Don't fancy doing that. I mean, we all know the best feeling when you're really thirsty and you have a big ice cold drink. So whatever these claims people are saying, I don't know, but I mean, I don't remember the last time someone died from drinking cold water.
I was growing.
Bro, I just drank some cold water last night, man. So now you telling me I gotta stay away from that, bro? Room temp only? I don't know if I can do that, man. I'm going to have to dive deep into that research, bro. Is that cold water really bad for you? That's a head scratcher.
Was absolutely terrified of the running lines in swimming pools, because I was. This is going to be the dumbest video you watch today, and I'm not even ashamed, but this is one of my biggest phobias, and it always has been, is these frickin' running lines on the bottom of swimming pools. Why were they so terrifying? Also, this little, like, rope thing that separated the different lanes in the pool. I'm so weird. Like, am I the only one? I know I'm not, because I get comments all the time, but oh my god, why is this so freaky? Here's a photo of it completely underwater, with this little drop-off. I hate this. I have a huge phobia of swimming pools. This is disgusting. Call me dramatic, call me stupid all you want. I don't care. This is stupid. This is crazy. Definitely one of my dumbest phobias ever. But those running lines, they look like giant snakes when I was little. You know that I have a phobia of paintings on the bottom of swimming pools, but like those lines in particular, hate it. And here they are in a drained pool that has been abandoned. Love that for me and you. And once again, another photo of an abandoned pool with the lines where it's drained. I hate this.
So apparently, all energy drinks are not made equal. And Monster Energy Drink itself is now marketing an energy drink just for women. So if you have not been focused on the energy drink game, there's a brand new energy drink that's being marketed just for women, and it will be out early 2026. Meet Monster Energy's new female-focused energy drink, Flirt. Believe it or not, the claims of this product, Flirt, are that it's supposed to support many things that women really care about. Collagen, skin, hair, you name it, it'll support it. So apparently this is the first drink that is on the market to keep women both alert, energized, and have their skin looking amazing. The one difference with this new Flirt is the size of the cans. They are only 12 ounces. Well, as far as I know plenty of females that have cracked open a Monster Energy drink and just, chugged it back and enjoyed it. Why did they have to go and make a female Monster Energy drink with all the funky colors on the can and different designs, and then come up with the name Flirt? What does that even entail? So I guess my question to you is, will you be buying and trying, or are you just satisfied with the regular Monster that they sell now? Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
New study has found that raccoons are showing early signs of domestication. Dogs, you may have competition. Now, the study conducted at the University of Arkansas suggests that raccoons living in urban areas in North America are physically changing in response to life around humans. And researchers suggested that domestication starts when wild animals start hanging around humans and adapt on their own, rather than us domesticating them. Dogs hung around ancient garbage piles and cats showed up for the mice that followed. But in this process over hundreds of years, physical changes were also observed. Shorter snouts, smaller heads, floppy ears, and white patches of fur. This pattern, which is noted all the way back in the 1800s, is called the domestication syndrome. And raccoons in the Big 25 and before GTA 6 might have that syndrome. Of the 20,000 raccoons observed across the US, researchers discovered that the ones living in the city have shorter snouts than the ones living in rural areas. Bro, what even is this year?
You think you know the truth about aliens? Well, wait until you see what them government insiders say. Amazon Prime is dropping a documentary that's going to change the way everybody thinks. The Age of Disclosure features 34 high-ranking officials. I'm talking intelligence, military, Congress. Names like Mark Rubio pop up dropping statements like, something is flying over our nuclear facility, and it's ours. They're intelligent. And a secret global race can reverse engineer alien technology. And this ain't fun fact about UFOs. We're talking possible national security threats. Tech we can't reverse engineer yet. And power structures that may already know more than they're telling. If these claims are real, it's time to question who's really pulling the strings. This documentary is going to show hard-to-deny testimony. Pilots, intelligence officers, missile site witnesses that say they saw the crabs that wasn't human. This shit is going beyond We Are Alone. This shit is basically about who's been here all along and what tech they left behind. You gotta ask yourself, why are they releasing this shit now? Right when AI is on the rise. Right when space projects are accelerating. This might not just be a disclosure. This might be conditioning. So when you watch this shit like they're finally saying what everybody's been thinking. Because that's what this shit is going to be like. I'm out.
Okay.
Their symbolism will be their downfall. Did y'all see that they included black horses in the opening, the introduction of the ceremony today? I feel like they are ramping up with the symbolism. I feel like Satan knows he does not have a lot of time left. And so he is 110% ramping up, going 0 to 100. And I feel like a lot of us are asleep and we are not seeing the symbolism that is right in front of us. So I asked the Bible app Haven about this apocalyptic symbolism that I feel like a lot of people is not seeing. I said, what does the Bible say about a black horse? So Haven responds with, Revelation 6:5, and it talks about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and that it brings famine and scarcity. Remember, famine and scarcity. But I want to know more. I said there was some symbolism on the world stage with Donald Trump and black horses for a ceremony, okay? So then Haven says, it sounds like you're connecting the Bible to biblical symbolism in real life involving Donald Trump. I feel like this mockery it's like a slap in the face, because guess what? Revelation 6:5 says, when he opened the third seal, he heard the beast say, come and see. Beheld, lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. You're seeing this biblical symbolism on the world stage. Not just America, it's everywhere. We're seeing this same exact symbolism.
Pfizer is a conspiracy that involves the Vatican. This man, who was a monk in Italy named Pellegrino Ernetti, and he had this skill set of restoring old Gregorian chants. And he was working with this other guy who was his boss, and then the guy who he was working with, the guy heard his father's voice. He's like, that sounds like my dad, this frequency that was coming in. He heard his father talking about shining shoes or a shoe repair or something. He's like, that is my father, because he was a cobbler. They're able to tap into this whole past life. And so that got Father Pellegrino to start doing research into what he called residual energy. He theorized that that could be detected. He went back, fragments had remained, and no one knew what the play was. He went back and was able to watch the whole play and write down the entire play. That is nuts, so dude. They went to the Pope with it, and the Pope said, you have to get rid of it. He said, this is way too dangerous to have. Supposedly, they dismantled it, but there's a lot of people theorizing that the Vatican still has it, they still use it, and potentially the CIA is involved in it.
Oh, she's possessed. Like straight up.
Wait, something's going on. Her face doesn't look like herself. Something's going on.
Yo, I've seen this video. It's a couple that does these hauntings. And one of them was they actually explored a prison where a lot of people died, right? So this is when the husband was really scared. They have a code word whenever they go so you know that they're still there with you, right? The wife's sitting there and she's smiling. Like in the video, she even says, look in my eyes, because her eyes were just like looking at someone in the distance. The husband was like, baby, you remember our code word? And she's like, we don't have a code word. Don't be funny. I don't know what that is.
We don't have it. We have a word safe word. What's the word safe word? No. Come on.
I just want to go.
Come on.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah. You never that good.
The husband's like, okay, we have to get out of here. Let's do a ritual on you real quick before we go, because this is like haunted.
Yeah. Oh, she's possessed. That's like straight up.
Yeah, she said this is the first time I felt like an
What's the safe word?
Like a safe word.
What's the safe word?
And how we don't have a safe word.
Oh, that's crazy. We have a word safe word.
And they always have
nah,
a safe word.
that's wild.
Are you trying to exercise me?
I'm this congregatio. Et secta diabolic.
This is not what you're supposed to hear from supposedly the happiest place on earth. And that's why you need to listen up. Something weird is happening at Disney, and y'all cannot ignore this. 5 people have died at the World Disney Resort within a month. And the latest one that happened, it happened at the Saratoga Spring Resort on November 8th. People are saying that's a quiet resort, and you would never expect something like that to happen, let alone at Disney, because like they said, it's the happiest place on earth. Nobody's saying Disney is not safe, but when the same theme park keep having incidents happen within a short time period, people gonna start asking questions, and rightfully so, because it's a little weird. It's becoming a little weird. Once, twice maybe, but 5, it's crazy how life works. It did, but why go to a happy place to do that? It's weird. Or if it's not true, just imagine you go to a place where you vacation there with your family, make memories, have fun, and then that's the last place you ever was alive. Y'all let me know.
This right here is the first household humanoid robot you can buy today for just $20,000. It's called Neo. But here's what they're not telling you in the marketing. Almost nothing you see in those promotional videos is actually autonomous. Those tasks are being performed by humans wearing VR headsets remotely controlling the robot. When you buy Neo and it can't figure out how to do something, which is most tasks, a human operator connects remotely and takes control. They can see through the robot's cameras into your home while they manually do your dishes. The few things it can do autonomously, opening doors, fetching basic objects, that's about it. And it's painfully slow. 5 minutes to load 3 items into a dishwasher, over a minute to walk 10 feet and get water from the fridge, 4-hour battery life before it needs to recharge. It can't handle anything hot, heavy, or sharp. Frequent failures, needs brakes to cool down, and you're paying $20,000 for the privilege of beta testing their unfinished product while strangers remotely control a robot in your house. This is the reality gap. Marketing shows a fully autonomous home assistant. Reality is a remote-controlled robot with severe limitations that requires human operators to do most tasks while watching your private life through its cameras. When the robot made you pay 20 grand for needs a human to actually do the work, are you buying automation or just expensive remote labor with a privacy problem? It means
That's freaking our robot right there, man. It's literally in the movies, bro. Why aren't people paying attention, man? The fact that it's $20,000 too, and it's not even a freaking finished product, that's diabolical, bro. They say it's like for beta testing and stuff like that. I don't know who's getting that, man. And to name it Neo, bro. Like after the movie The Matrix. That's crazy work.
6-7 is actually demonic. So the guy who made the song 6-7, his name is Skrilla. And even more worser, Skrilla, he does witchcraft. He literally practices Santeria. During all of his concerts and appearances, he wears these creepy masks. And he also worships demons. And even more insane, every demon has their own number. For example, one demon will be assigned number 6, another will be assigned number 41. And the demons that Skrilla worships are number 6 and 7. Oh, but it gets even more insaner. When Skrilla is practicing Santeria, he literally shared videos of him doing weird things to chickens
dragons and goat heads, where he does SACRAFICES to them. And Skrilla constantly talks about selling his soul and how he's a vampire, and that his clothes are spiritual and like casting a spell. And now a lot of people feel like it is mocking faith. He literally had babies doing the 6-7. Now parents are mad at teachers because entire classrooms were doing this. It was showing up everywhere. And now some people are even saying that the 6-7 kid is an industry plant from the devil himself. And I say himself because we all know the devil is a man because women aren't evil. Will you ever say 6-7 again?
Shit. Ariana Grande has caused quite a storm on social media this week, and it's all to do with the dress that she wore for the Grammys. And yes, the Grammys has been some time, but people weren't actually paying attention. So Ariana Grande basically wore this red glitter dress, but what a lot of fans didn't actually realise was that it actually had a red shoe on the back. And as much as some people think it's nothing more than a reference to Dorothy's shoes from The Wizard of Oz, other people are actually speculating that Ariana Grande is in fact referencing the Red Shoe Club. So what is the Red Shoe Club? The Red Shoe Club allegedly is for the elite, filled with high-list celebrities, parts of the royal family and even politicians. It is a club in which they kidnap, traffic, kill and even sometimes eat young children. People believe that the red shoes are actually made from human skin, and the people who wear them are part of this. Wearing the shoe is basically a symbol to others about their power. Don't shoot the messenger because I just think it's a Dorothy reference.
All right, quick update. NASA just held their live stream about 3i Atlas. Here's the highlights. I'm going to show you the images, and I'm going to give you my take on the whole thing. So they opened by immediately shutting down all the hype, the speculation, rumors. Straight out of the gate, they said, this is a comet. There's no mystery, just a standard classification of a comet. They did say that their teams were still quietly tracking 3i Atlas through the whole government shutdown. So, you know, they've been collecting data nonstop, basically. They then showed some images, and they showed it from multiple spacecraft. So they started with the Psyche spacecraft. They then showed an image from the Lucy, and the Maven was next. And then they also showed something from the SOHO missions. NASA has launched a dedicated 3i Atlas page with a whole bunch of imagery up there, so I'll link it down below so that you can dig through it yourself and check it out. Now, they did emphasize that they're still going through tons of data. So they said there's going to be more images, more analysis, and more detailed information that will be released in the near future. Look, overall, though, it was underwhelming. It was interesting to some degree, but nothing mind-blowing. No big surprises, no dramatic reveals, very conservative overall. Did you watch it yourself? Do you feel like they answered your questions at all? Or do you think NASA is still holding back? Let me know your take.
I mean, if they really legit did find something, could they even say it? So I guess do you think they was like trying to play it down on purpose, man? And be seeing all these 3i Atlas videos on YouTube, bro. People have many theories of what it could be, and when that actually picture came out, I saw it. It was like so blurry. People was like, "Wow, that's what we're tracking." So there could be more behind the story.
A chapel that has a staircase in the church that does not use wood, any nails, any glue from this earth. So, have you ever heard about the mystery of the Loreto Chapel?
Never heard about it.
So, here's the story. They're building this chapel in New Mexico, right? And the French architect in charge suddenly dies before finishing the staircase to the choir loft. So the nuns, they pray to St. Joseph for like 9 days, hoping someone will come and build the stairs. On the last day of their prayer, this guy shows up out of nowhere, like literally from the desert, riding a donkey. He just walks into the church and says he was sent to build the stairs. In just 3 months, he builds the entire staircase, and then poof, he's gone. Didn't even ask for payment or anything. So the nuns, they go to the lumberyard to see if they owe anything for the wood, but the workers are like, nah, this guy never came here to get wood. And here's the craziest part. There's not a single nail used in the entire staircase. So the chapel's curator, right, he's like, okay, we need to figure this out, and brings in over 120 experts to examine it. They all say the same thing. It's physically impossible to build a staircase like that.
Y'all seen this yet? There's something going on in the Caribbean, y'all, because Melissa just came through and destroyed Jamaica, right? And now, right, not just Jamaica, but Haiti as well. But check this out. Now Haiti's name says Haiti instead of Haiti, and this is a federal map too. This is the aviation map. They're showing you guys this is Haiti. But nonetheless, y'all, something's going on because this was spotted today, and the weather started acting weird around this general area. People are still hearing loud booms around the world, and then all of a sudden this pops up in the Caribbean. And did you guys see what's happening in Jamaica right now, y'all?
Brutalize the tree and leave them with no limbs nor leaves. We are now experiencing a major fire here from West Africa.
Something is going on in the Caribbean, especially with Jamaica, man. These people cannot get a break. Look at the trees. The trees are barren. They're dead. And now something sparked a fire out there. See, I told y'all there's a lot of action going on in Jamaica right now because my friend just sent me a video of meteorites in Jamaica. This was just a few days ago. Remember earlier this year, this also happened, and now it's happening again. You know they talk about that dragon, that Leviathan waking up in the Jamaica, right? Y'all know about that, right? I literally just posted a video about a Jamaican guy talking about the Leviathan. But look, check this out, y'all. Look at this, look. Look at the head. Look at the snout. Y'all see that? Jamaica's right there, and Haiti right there. That's why a lot of stuff be happening there, y'all. Y'all see that? It's literally the eye of the dragon, the snake. Y'all see that? And they talking about this thing is waking up. That's probably why that fire is there. Like the nose, y'all see that? The times are here. We are in prophecy. This would make sense as to why there's a cleansing going on in Haiti and Jamaica right now. But this is all part of the shift, y'all. I've been telling y'all, the shift is here. Let me know what you guys think about this video.
Now skip this video. An 8-year-old girl bravely fought off a terrifying intruder who entered her home in the middle of the night wearing a clown mask. On the 15th of October, a scene unfolded in a small town like that from a horror film. At around 1:30 a.m., a man broke into a child's bedroom in Colorado. Police described the incident as an attempted child abduction, with the man entering the room in a dark hoodie and a cloth clown mask. Terrifyingly, the little girl was blindfolded and snatched off her bed as the man tried to take her from her bedroom. She was subject to quite a brutal attack by the intruder and bravely fought him off until he hit her over the head and knocked her out. Fortunately, it seems that he was spooked in the process of this and fled the scene. Now, it apparently took police over an hour to get to the incident at the property, but they did manage to gather vital evidence and then track the intruder down. They revealed his identity as 56-year-old Thomas Gallegos. They were able to arrest him and charge him with multiple serious offences such as burglary, assault, kidnapping and child abuse. The little girl did sustain cuts and bruises and was obviously traumatised by the attack, but fortunately did live to tell the tale.
This is how rare your body actually is. Starting off, only 5% of people have tied tongues, so if you have this, you're pretty rare. Basically, this is where your tongue is tied to the bottom of your mouth, impacting your speech and eating. Next up is Morton's toe, and if you have this, you're probably pretty rare. Only 10% of the population has this, and this is where your index toe is bigger than your big toe. Okay, this next one is crazy. 1% of people actually have unbreakable bones. This is a genetic mutation which causes people's bones to be more dense than the average human. And one person who had this condition actually walked away from a car crash unharmed. Next, about 50% of people can fit their hand in their mouth. Sounds a bit high, so if you actually can, let me know. If you can tickle yourself, you're in the rare 7% of the population that can do this. About 10% of people suffer from eczema, which is a skin rash and is so annoying. And finally, we have the 16% of people that can make a roaring noise in their head by clenching their jaw.
If any of your secrets, man, can you guys do any of those unique things, man? I think I have the tied tongue, but I can't fit my whole fist in my mouth. I know I can't do that. I don't even need to try to do that, bro. And the unbreakable bones. I saw actually somebody comment down, a fellow seeker said how like the unbreakable bone story was kind of not true. So, like I said, to each their own. Everybody got to do their own research, but that's crazy.
Crazy part is, most people believe that these 3 things will actually save your life. They don't. Let's pretend you're lost in the desert and you need water and you don't have any. So where are some places you can get water? One commonly held terrible piece of advice is to drink your own pee, because it's mostly made up of water, except there's 5% of that that's all made up of just waste from your body, and even though the urine might keep you alive a little bit longer, you'll ultimately die of kidney failure. So you don't drink your own pee. Instead, you head over to some cactus you see nearby because you remember reading or hearing in school that you can drink the water inside of cactus. Except, unless it's one really specific kind of cactus, you'll be drinking lots of alkaloids and chemicals that will make you viciously ill, and you'll start vomiting and you'll have diarrhea and you'll die from dehydration much faster. So as you're sitting there wondering what you're going to do next, a venomous snake bites you. And so you instinctively start sucking on the bite to remove the poison, but you can't because it goes right in your bloodstream, and all you'll do is die much faster from infection.
Man, those 3 things, he just proved us wrong.
This picture from inside the basement of Fun Zone, and I'm going to get into some of the backstory about what it is that we're actually looking at here. But what I can tell you is that when I did see it, my heart sunk. For some backstory, if you don't know what Fun Zone is, this is kind of a relic of the late 90s, early 2000s. It had lots of iterations over the years, but it was effectively like an indoor amusement park or arcade. It used to be like a really fun place to be. It had a handful of carnival rides, indoor roller coasters, all the works. So Fun Zone eventually did close down, and they boarded up the doors. I guess the problem was that didn't stop people from breaking in. One of the curious things about this location was that they didn't sell off any of the equipment that was inside. It just kind of remained in place. Eventually, upon one of the break-ins where somebody went in, they made their way to the basement where they found an abandoned cell phone, and that is where we get this picture. Nobody really knows who took the photo or what really happened to them, but if you look a bit closer to the background, you will see the same thing that I do. You can see it if I make the photo brighter. Whoever was exploring Fun Zone, they came face to face with a person in that basement. Don't forget, if scary stories like this are of interest to you, make sure to go check them out right on the podcast.
We're always told to drink a lot of water throughout the day, but have you ever wondered what happens when you drink too much water? Well, 35-year-old Ashley Summers drank 64 ounces of water in a span of 20 minutes and passed away from water toxicity. Ashley, her husband, and 2 daughters were at Lake Freeman in Indiana when she began feeling dehydrated. So she drank 4 bottles of water because for some reason she wasn't able to quench her thirst. Ashley complained about having a horrible headache and she began to feel lightheaded. When she got home with her family, she passed out in the garage and she was taken to the hospital where the doctor said she had brain swelling. Ashley never woke up and she was pronounced dead from water toxicity. A toxicologist said that this is more likely to happen to someone who's extremely dehydrated, which will cause them to drink too much water and not enough sodium or electrolytes. So remember, bring more than just water on really hot days, especially if you're under the sun for a long period of time.
Here's why you might not want to visit your mom on her birthday. A man was stuck in traffic while driving home after visiting his mother for her birthday. The man was so frustrated that when the GPS told him to take a detour, he went right away, which might have been a mistake. His gas light then came on, so he decided to pull into this super barren town to fill up his tank. So the man went in, pumped his gas, and when he went to pay, the clerk was super weird. He didn't acknowledge him and just gave him a creepy smile. The man then went outside and saw a woman just standing in the middle of the road and said, "Are you okay?" And the woman looked at him and said, "Ah, yes, we are happy here." The man was like, "What?" and just drove out of there. Till a cop pulled him over and said, "Sir, you can't drive. Driving's illegal here." The man had had enough and literally just went pedal to the metal and zoomed out of there. When he got home, he was just so confused. The people looked real but didn't act human. He tried to research it but decided, next year I'm just sending my mom a card.
Yeah, the Fast and Furious out of there, bro. I did the same thing too. People are acting weird, very weird.
Weird Nature Facts, Part 37. In proportion to body weight, koalas have one of the smallest brains of any mammal. They're so dumb that when presented with leaves on a flat surface instead of on branches, they are unable to recognize them as food and will not eat them. Dogs get sprayed by skunks so often because skunks raise their tails as a warning. Dogs see this as "come smell my butt," which is the exact opposite message of what the skunk is trying to send. In Germany, it is illegal to kill any vertebrate animal without proper reason. Because of this, all German animal shelters are no-kill. In the 1980s, Ken the orangutan escaped from his enclosure at the San Diego Zoo multiple times. His apparent goals were visiting other animals, taking photos with tourists, and throwing rocks at his orangutan rival.
Wow,
Here are some disturbing facts about Disney. Many scenes in Toy Story are inspired by the horror movie The Shining. The voice actor that did Lilo in Lilo and Stitch also played the ghost girl in The Ring. The Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland feature real human skeletons. Also at Disneyland, there are vents that pump out artificial smells to keep you happy. After the release of Princess and the Frog, over 50 kids went to hospital for salmonella. They tried to kiss a frog. Do you know any other creepy things about Disney? Leave a comment.
Here's some of
I think the thing that got to me the most is that he pumping out like a smoke out of a vent to keep you happy at Disney. What the heck? What they got going on with Disney, bro? And the more you know, I heard some creepy facts about Disney, but that's definitely a new one I heard today, Seekers.
The creepiest videos on the internet, part 10. The popular American rapper XXXTentacion was murdered on June 18th, 2018, and his death broke the hearts of many.
R.I.P.
Many people visited his memorial to leave gifts, but some people captured much more. The YouTube channel, The Fam, recorded a video trying to communicate with this beloved rapper, but accidentally captured this. But someone else got a lot more than this. The YouTube channel Selva the Explorer got to speak with him through her spirit box. Here's some things he had to say.
What is your favorite song you've ever recorded? What's the name of your favorite song? Are you in the Wi-Fi? Is there anything else you want to tell us?
Is this legit? They were speaking to his ghost?
Yeah, I don't know if this is the most disturbing, but this is definitely top 5. This is Malgans Island, and up to 60,000 of these birds called Cape Gannets will nest here. But don't worry, I'm gonna get to it. So normally these parents take turns, with one going out for food with the other staying behind to guard the chick. But because of overfishing, oftentimes both parents will go out for food, leaving the chick all alone on the island. Which wouldn't be a problem if they didn't know that. Because groups of these white pelicans will fly over to the islands and then walk around looking for any unsupervised gannet chicks, so that they can grab the baby birds and eat them alive while they're still struggling. And sometimes they'll just push the parents out the way and then swallow the newborn children right in front of them. It somehow gets worse. Those same pelicans will fly back to their nest and vomit the half-digested, recently murdered baby birds for the pelican chicks to eat. And because Cape Gannets have no real way to defend themselves, pelicans have no reason to stop. And since pelicans obviously don't have teeth, those chicks' last moments were spent suffocating while being digested alive by stomach acid, only to get regurgitated and eaten twice. Dinosaurs never went extinct. They just rebranded with feathers.
Black Air Force Energy. Confirmed. They need some menaces, bro.
This is proof that we aren't alone. Okay, so in Wyoming, there's a strange mountain in the middle of nowhere with ridges on it, and no one seems to know why. Now, most people say that this is because of erosion. However, there's a theory behind this mountain that will absolutely shock you.
Talk about it.
And as the theory says, the real reason as to why this mountain has ridges is not because of erosion, but because of a giant bear. The said bear is said to be named Mato and is about 60 feet tall, weighing over 10 tons. And this story even goes as far back as the Stone Age, with drawings of a gigantic bear attacking tribes on wall caves. However, this creature has not been seen since.
So this video went viral sometime last year when this woman and her kids, along with her friend and her friend's kids, went out to eat after a doctor's appointment. While they sat at this restaurant, this random man came out of nowhere and tried to grab one of their daughters and pull her out of the restaurant. The two mothers had a total of 6 kids with them, and they were all seated on this table, but in front of them were 2 other young kids who happened to be Snapchatting while this whole thing went down, and they caught this crazy moment. When the mother realized that this man had grabbed her daughter, she stood up right away and said, "Oh hell no." And then he said, "I'm just playing," and he let go of the little girl. There is no way this man is just playing around. He intended to take that little girl, and he probably thought it was going to be easy because there's just 2 moms with 6 kids at this table.
Humanoid robots.
Yeah, nah, he was definitely on some weird crap, bro. Gonna say, try to play it off as a joke, man. These people are getting bold now, bro. Like, right in front of the parents, they just don't care no more. Did the right thing stand up? Nah, we had to run that feed, bro. No. Somebody had to drag me off that guy, man. And for, like, in front of the parents? How stupid could you be?
Are getting creepier by the day. A startup from Poland called Clone Robotics is on a mission to create some of the most human-like robots ever, even going as far as to use a musculoskeletal body using hydraulic tendon muscles covered in the stretchy skin-like fabric. And it's not just for show, because they claim that it is the strongest biomimetic hand in the world. Oh, and just like in the movies, their artificial muscles bleed if punctured. So yeah, things are getting serious now.
It's Terminator next step.
Today, let's talk about the mysterious disappearance of Rebecca Corium. Rebecca Corium was a 24-year-old worker on the Disney Wonder cruise ship. On March 22, 2011, while working on the cruise ship, Rebecca disappeared without a trace. This is one of the last photos taken of her, and it was from CCTV footage. At 5:45 a.m. that morning, footage revealed Rebecca talking on the phone with someone. She seemed visibly distressed. Now here's where it gets twisted. Many people believe that Disney knows exactly what happened to Rebecca, but are trying to cover up this whole thing. Let me explain. For starters, the captain of the ship said that Rebecca was just washed over by a big wave. They then gave Rebecca's parents a sandal and said that this was hers and it was retrieved from the deck that she was last seen on. Number one, the sandal wasn't her size. Number two, it wasn't her style. It was also revealed that Disney had edited this CCTV footage. Check out part 2 on this case for more information.
They're just trying to save some money, man. That's not the first time a big company would do something like that. It's sad.
Did you know that they may have just exposed Satan's city? What's even more crazy is there's people living there right now and it's not hell. Whilst addressing a church in Revelation chapter 2 verse 13, Jesus exposes the city of Satan. Watch this. Jesus says, I know where you live, a place where Satan sits enthroned. And he says that same place is where his faithful witness Antipas died. Saint Antipas was martyred by being burnt in a bronze bull in Geneva, Switzerland. Like, this literally happened under the rule and reign of Nero. And you're never gonna guess what's happening in Geneva, Switzerland right now. It's home to an organization called CERN, whose, logo just happens to be 666. And their goal in life is to develop a machine that can actually tear a hole between the natural and supernatural realm. And they just made a discovery of something called the God particle, but that's a video for another time. Subscribe now if you love Jesus.
What do we think about CERN, man? That's their headquarters,
This is the disturbing truth about Christmas. This is Black Peter, and he spends the whole year spying on kids, taking note on who has been good and who has been bad. Every single Christmas, Black Peter goes with Santa from house to house, and while Santa gives presents to the good kids, Black Peter punishes the bad ones, and this is what he does to them. At first, he will leave you a bag of twigs and a pile of coal. But if you have been really bad, Black Peter will snatch you from your bed and throw you into a sack. He will then kidnap you and take you to his coal mine, where he will chain you up and make you his slave. You will then work for him for the rest of your life, and if Black Peter ever gets sick of you, he will just simply eat you. So if this doesn't motivate you to make the nice list, then I don't know what will.
Stay away from Black Peter, bro.
Of the Silent Man. In 2014, a 51-year-old man in the UK named David Hampson decided to stand in the middle of a busy road and block the traffic. The incident was then reported and police officers arrived at the scene to see what was going on. But when they tried to talk to David to get him to move, he wouldn't say a word and just stood there, so they arrested him. From his arrest to when he was brought to court, David still remained completely silent and wouldn't even talk to his lawyer. Although since no one knew his motives and he hadn't actually hurt anyone, David was let go soon afterwards. But all he did was just go back to that same street and stand there, silent, once again. And he committed this same crime over and over again for the next 7 years, never saying a word to anyone. Even though he was jailed multiple times, every time he was released, he would just go back to that same street and do the exact same thing. All the doctors who are trying to help David failed because he refused to speak to them. And it was reported that the only time anyone had ever heard him speak was when he was giving food and water, and he said thanks. Finally, in 2020, David was given 3.5 years in prison for his actions, and is still yet to speak to anyone on why he did it. For more,
If you believe in
crazy.
God, stay away from Halloween. Muslims, Christians, or anyone who believes in God, Halloween is a pagan festival. It involves evil spirits, jinns, and shaitan. It is forbidden for Muslims, and real Christians will know the truth. Please do not associate with it and stay away. Share this everywhere, spread awareness.
Alright guys, let's
That's
talk
true,
about
I remember
Krampus.
that.
Krampus comes from old German folklore. He's the opposite of Santa Claus and he punishes misbehaving children on Christmas. You might be asking, what does he do to punish these misbehaving children? He stuffs them in his bag and takes them back to his lair. He either eats them or tortures them. He also has a whole gang of minions that help him do this. Krampus is celebrated around many parts of Europe and there have been a lot of petitions to ban him. This is because people are scared of the legend and they don't want to keep doing it. But every single year during Christmas time, there are always reports of Krampus sightings all over the place. Let me know what you guys think about Krampus in the comment section below.
Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew, Part 3. The first firefighter killed in 9/11 attacks was struck dead by a falling body in the courtyard. One of them was killed on his way in, and the other was killed on his way out. Right now, there are tiny little bugs on your face munching on your dead skin. Your bones are wet. If you don't have kids, you will break an unbroken line of children that has gone on for tens of millions of years. A scientist studying death asked a man who was about to be executed by a guillotine if he would blink after his head was chopped off. He ended up blinking for 30 seconds. Most laugh tracks for TV shows were recorded in the early 1950s, meaning that you hear dead people laugh. If you're attacked by a bear, it won't try to kill you like other predators. Instead, it'll just start eating you. One day, someone will mention you for the last time, then they'll never ever mention you again.
Crazy to think about, man.
Here are the creepiest Christmas urban legends, Part 1. Ever heard of the Yule Cat? This is an extremely creepy cat that's said to originate from Iceland. According to stories, the Yule Cat enjoys snacking on people during the holiday season. And what makes the Yule Cat even weirder is that it specifically targets people who haven't received any new clothing before Christmas Eve. Iceland is also home to Gryla. According to Iceland lore, Gryla is a giant ogress who leaves her cave in the mountains to feed on children during Christmas. To make the story even creepier, Gryla keeps the Yule Cat as a pet. What the hell is going on in Iceland? Then we have Belschnickel, and this one comes from Germany. According to people of the Rhine, Belschnickel is an old bearded man who visits children during the holidays with Santa Claus. If you were good that year, he'd give you cakes and candy. If you were bad, well, Belschnickel would pull out a switch and whip the children until they behaved. This is probably why Dwight from The Office loved him so much. There's also Krampus. This is one you've probably heard about from movies and books. In the Alpines, Krampus is a horned demonic figure who visits the homes of naughty children on December 5th and punishes them. In some versions of the story, he hits them with birch rods. In others, he straight up takes them back down to hell with him. The Germans definitely know how to scar kids for life.
Scary things hidden in Disney movies. In Mona, Olaf and Frozen appears in Mona's basket. Wally, Rex from Toy Story All Alone among the junk.
Whoa,
Here's
I never
the
noticed
truth
that.
behind Dora the Explorer. You may think it's just some ordinary cartoon, but there's actually a big secret behind it. Dora the Explorer is actually blind, and here's proof. If you watch the show, you'll notice Dora never actually looks at what she's talking about. She always looks in another direction and doesn't even blink. This also explains why her parents make her take Boots everywhere, because Boots is actually a secret service animal. Even in this scene right here, Boots is counting the coins and she's not looking anywhere near that. And this explains why she always asks obvious questions to the audience. The 16-year-old.
Whoa, what the heck? Hey, that's a new theory, man, that she just put in my head. Was Dora the Explorer always blind? What do you guys think, man? They was lining up perfectly.
Girl threw her newborn out of her window. Viewers' discretion is strongly advised. On September 30th of 2016, a 16-year-old Antonia Lopez had gave birth to a baby girl. Right after giving birth, she took a photo of the baby and sent that photo to her baby's father on Snapchat. Antonia had captioned the photo saying it was a girl, by the way. Right after that is when she made the decision to throw the baby out of her second-story window. Shortly after that, she then decides to post on her Facebook around 3:40 a.m. to see if someone can help her out. Someone ends up replying to her Facebook post and she is asking help to get rid of a deceased baby, needs some trash bags, and a car. Antonia ends up telling her mom what happened, and her mom immediately calls 911 and rushes down to that baby to perform CPR.
Antonia was taken into custody and she could face up to 20 years in prison if she was charged as an adult. The judge ends up charging Antonia as a juvenile so she can avoid prison time. Instead, she was sentenced to live in a group home, complete 50 hours of community service, attend therapy sessions, and delete her Facebook account. The only reason they made her delete her Facebook account was because of the angry comments she was receiving.
Here's what famous cartoon characters would look like in real life, and the last one will freak you out. This is what Homer Simpson would look like as a real person. And this is a 3D rendering of Mario. Buzz Lightyear doesn't actually look too different in real life. And Bart Simpson seems to have a missing chin when he turns real. Stewie Griffin from Family Guy doesn't look too different. But SpongeBob SquarePants might freak you out.
Yeah, he did. SpongeBob can't be real. That be.
Maps that will change the way you see the world. These cities are all still owed money from the Trump campaign. There are now over 50 countries generating over 50% of their electricity from renewable energy. This shows the employment rates for 15 to 29-year-olds in Europe. The darkest blue areas are over 80% and the darkest red areas are under 30%. This is how much it costs to hold a prisoner in each state in the United States. In Arkansas, it only costs $23,000, but in Maine, it costs over $300,000. 33% of the entire country of Switzerland live within 5 kilometers of the main train line that goes through the country. This map shows how population is dispersed through France with the same amount of people living in the green as in the red. This map shows how many people by percentage in each country in Europe actually speak French. This map is highlighting every city that was founded by the French in the United States.
Wow, the more you know. That first map is crazy, bro.
These are scary cartoon truths that would terrify you, part 8. Okay, so the Teletubbies is a dark nightmare about genetically engineered slave creatures being systematically trained to become part of our society. The Teletubbies aren't in control of their own destiny, and 3 things control their day-to-day life. First is the voice, which is a tiny female voice that tells them when they could eat, sleep, say hello, or even say goodbye. The robotic voice comes from a speaker in the ground, hinting that something larger lies beneath. Next up is Nunu. He's a harmless vacuum cleaning robot who follows the Teletubbies and cleans up all the messes that they make, and also yelling at them for bad decisions. Nunu is just the watchdog of the Teletubbies. Finally is the pinwheel. Whenever the pinwheel starts to spin, the Teletubbies stop everything they're doing and run to the top of the hill to perform a ritual. People believe the Teletubbies is based on the end of the world.
Wow, we've heard some crazy theory about the Teletubbies, but that's definitely a new one.
Saudi Arabia has just said that the groundwork for what would become the largest structure on Earth is now 86% complete. Now, not only would it be large enough to fit 20 Empire State Buildings inside, but similar to the Las Vegas Sphere, in its center will be this spiral-shaped tower encased by a VR dome that essentially could create anything your mind could imagine, whether that be on Mars, under the ocean, balcony views of Pandora, and even whatever the hell these things are. So the question is, do you think they'll be able to complete this by 2030 or not?
This evil grandmother bakes
so.
her 20-month-old granddaughter in the oven. Viewer's discretion is strongly advised. 48-year-old Carolyn Jones lived with her brother and 20-month-old granddaughter Royalty in Shaw, Mississippi. She was described as a caring woman who loved her granddaughter. On October 15th of 2018, Carolyn's brother had found Royalty in a still warm oven when he had returned home from work. She had been burned so badly that she was unrecognizable. The police determined that Royalty had been stabbed multiple times and was still alive when she was placed in the oven. Royalty's cause of death was stab wounds and inhaling all that heated air. Carolyn was taken into custody on a charge of first-degree murder. The motive behind why she did this is still unclear to this day. A week before the incident, Royalty's toys and belongings had been left on the curb for trash. Royalty's car seat, high chair, ride-on horse, and diapers were among the items taken by people that were passing down their street. Neighbors were shocked to hear about what happened, and they stated that they rarely saw Carolyn or anyone else at that house, and they had no idea that a small child was even living there. In 2022, Carolyn was sentenced to life in prison for capital murder.
An 11-year-old boy came across this girl buried underneath the sand, and this is what happened. A young boy named Connor Fitzgerald was building sandcastles with a couple of his friends at the Marina Dunes beach in California. The boys soon moved to digging holes in the sand and challenged each other to see who could dig the deepest. As Connor was digging his hole, he suddenly hit something with his right hand. He dug deeper and realized that it was a bag. He dug around the bag, grabbed it, pulled it out, and was shocked when he realized that the bag was still attached to its owner. Connor then dug back more sand to find a little girl buried underneath. He called out for help, but there were no adults around, so he single-handedly pulled her out of the sand. The little girl was completely limp and wasn't breathing. Connor then thought back to an episode of NCIS where he saw a character perform CPR. As he started the procedure, a young couple walking down the beach started sprinting toward them.
Damn, we gotta find that part too, bro. Imagine you found somebody buried alive. That little boy is a hero, bro. Man. Seekers, if you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you're a true seeker seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support, man. Make sure you guys follow me on my social medias. Hit that thumbs up button. Comment down below. You guys are gonna catch you in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube.